Hello, Sinsk. Hello, Dimitri. Haven't seen you in a while. Hello, Dam, and hello, ZG. Hopefully your days are going well. Welcome to the stream. Today is 2/9/26. How you doing? Yeah, I'm doing good. Wait, how you doing to Singularity? Aww. Welcome me to the stream? Well, thank you very much. Hello, Cappuccino. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? And hello, Venus. Hopefully your day's going well. Do I wear glassed? No, I don't wear any glassed. I have perfect 20/20 vision. Drawing next to the arm is quite the looker, and above is cute. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I like this. I like how this one came out. This arm came out. I've been practicing arms. But yeah, I do like this drawing. I think on this page, my favorite face is this one. Oh, but yeah, this face is cute. Side profiles probably used to be my nightmare. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Mine too. I started playing Kill It With Fire, but it costs money to get the full version on mobile. Oh, nice. I don't know what that game is, but... well, I hope you like it. Or the demo version or whatever it is that you have. Although, you know, I wish I could have added more clarity to the head. I don't know I don't know how you do it, but for me, faces are the one thing that can never fit together. Well, yeah. See, I just spent basically all of my time when I first started drawing was spent on drawing faces. So, I'm pretty decent with drawing faces. I'm decent. Hello, Tina. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? I'll be dipping soon. Okay. I'm really good at side profiles, but I can't draw front profile well. I see. My drawings are getting better. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, it's because of... I'm not talking to me. Yeah, I've been trying to improve. Great job, thank you. What kind of music is this? I have no idea. It's music I've made for someone else, basically. Honestly, yeah, I don't think anyone is gonna hear this music much, at least from me, that's for sure. And you made it yourself? Yeah. I wouldn't call it a commission, but yeah, I did make it for someone else. I'm using it here just because I want to have something on. Something new that's on, because this is like the only new song that I've made. Well, technically I've made another song for this person, but I'm not playing it. I'm only playing this one. Actually, I really like the music in the background. It's pretty calming. Thank you. I like how as that, talking about the music, it just stops. I thought I had it on loop. Why did it turn off? Just for the fun of it? I guess so. Interesting. But yeah, I made it myself. What hotel lobby music? Maybe you'll hear it later, and it's the one that's always playing. The normal song that's always playing. Hello, Carrot in your yard. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Okay, goodbye, Carrot. Looks great. Thank you, MDR. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Do you usually make music a lot in your spare time? Sometimes, but not. Yeah, like sometimes. I like to make music. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye, Dimitri. Have a good day. Or well, rather, yeah. Hopefully you have a good day at work. Hello, Sephiroth. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Yeah. I mean, like, I don't tend to. I mean, in my spare time, I kind of draw, right? But like, I guess if we're just talking about my spare time outside of drawing, it's split between a lot of things, right? Like I guess the spare time that I have outside of drawing is kind of stretched thin, I think. Am I a cat or dog person? I think I'm more of a cat person, to be honest. Not that I think, like, if I, yeah, I don't mind dogs, but I think that a cat would just be a little bit easier to take care of, just a tad bit. And for a person like me who I guess prioritizes time a lot, at least I try to make sure I have enough time to do everything that I want to do. I don't know if I'd be able to give care to a dog, or rather, like I would be able to give, I would care for the dog if I had a dog, but the caring for the dog would take away time from a lot of things. And like I'm not saying that cats don't, like, you don't need to like care for a cat as much. Of course, I think both animals, you probably need to care for them just in different ways, but I feel like the maintenance that a cat needs is probably just a little bit less than a dog. Hello, Rap Dog. How's your day going? I was trying to figure out, wait, how do you say your name again? Yeah, like I'd have to play with the dog, which like I think would be fun. Like I don't mind playing with a dog, but like the need to do that, at least, and like, you know, take it for walks and stuff like that, it would just be a lot. And like it's not even like something where I'd be like forced to, or well, obviously like if I get a dog, it's my responsibility to take care of it, but I'd feel like not obligated, but like I'd want to, right? Because I feel like if you have a pet, like it'd be just fun to just like chill with the pet. But like chilling with anything is gonna impact like the rest of my schedule, which is the problem. But like maybe one day, one day when I have less things to do, I'll probably do that, maybe. Of course, that is one day if I ever get the chance to, you know. You know what they say, if you plan for the future, you forsake your past. Just kidding, they never said that. I made that up. I mean, wait, no, if you plan for the future, you forsake your present is what I'm supposed to say, not the past. If the dog wants attention while you draw, would you stop trying to pet it? Well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of like my duty. It's my duty as the person who's like, yeah, I think so. I feel the same way for pets that I feel about like children. Like, if you bring a child into this world, you're kind of obligated to do everything you can for the child, basically, without even expecting anything in return. And like likewise, if you get a pet, you're kind of like obligated to take care of the pet no matter what. Although, yeah. That's my broad stance on it. So yeah, I would pet the dog. What kind of chips do you like? Oh, barbecue. Barbecue's my favorite flavor. This pencil is running low. Also, I need to sharpen it. I woke up at like 5 or 6 a.m. or maybe 4. I have no idea. It'll be like that. Hold on, let me sharpen this pencil. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Hello, Bryce. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Hopefully your day is going well. Alright. That's good enough, I think. Oh, I just dropped the shavings all over the shavings, the filings, the shreddings. What do you call the residue that comes when you when you sharpen a pencil? What's that called? You just got pretzel. That's nice. Oh shit. Okay. Doing good? That's good. Shavings. Okay, yeah. I dropped the pencil shavings. if whenever you add like ings to something, it becomes like a smaller version of the thing, right? Like why can't like it be like called? Why can't big dogs be called pups, and then like smaller dogs be called like puplings or something like that? I feel like that'd be cute. Humans, humanlings, peoplelings. I don't know. What ice cream flavor? I'm vanilla. It's called Koso? Huh? Hello, Iron Eye. Welcome to the stream. Also, hello, McKinley. Did I say hello to you? What do you think that was the coolest animal aside from dogs and cats? Well, I don't even think dogs and cats are like cool. I think they're just like cute. I think dogs and cats are cute. Of course, like wolves are cool, but I think like maybe. Well, yeah, okay. Some dogs are cool, so I take back my statement. But I think the coolest animal is probably like a snake or something like that. Or if not a snake, then a tiger. If you want to go with like a big animal, then like yeah, a tiger. Tigers are cool. Maybe even like a crocodile or something like that. The shoebill stork is a terrifying animal, but yeah, I guess I can consider it cool as well. At the very least, it looks terrifying. Rather, it looks angry. I'm on KFC now, but we don't have them in my region. True. Prehistoric burb, right? Yeah. Cassowaries are cool. Like if we're just talking about like cool birds, yeah. Shoebill stork, cassowary. Is there any other cool birds? I guess like any type of like falcon or something. Octopus, octopi, they're cool. Yeah, they're cool. Mud skippers are the coolest. What? What exactly is a mud? I've heard of them. I might actually know what they are, but I don't actually know what a mud skipper is. I don't have the attention span of a toddler, so I'm a dip and do Bryce things. But I F with you heavy guy. Oh, heavy guys. So see you later. Okay, goodbye, Bryce. Have a good day. Alrighty, there you go. I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good drawing. I think we're pretty done with it. I'm pretty much done with it. Do I do some shading? I mean, I might do some shading on the clothing, but honestly, I think I like the soft nature of the clothing, so maybe I won't do any shading on it anymore. Like I like how this looks, but I've already done like I feel like it'd be inconsistent of me to not shade. Like I didn't. Hold on. The drawing is really nice. Yeah, thank you. Do you watch anime? I do. My favorite anime is ReZero. Mud skippers look silly. Mud skippers are those fish that when the tide go low, they. Oh, that's what a mud skipper is. Okay. I knew I heard of them before. The ones that have like a set of lungs as well. How do you think of that color palette? Blue and orange. It looks holographic. I don't know. I know that blue and orange are complementary colors. So yeah, colors like blue, orange, purple. Or that's a different blue, but yeah, like purple. Like those colors do go well together. I wish I could sketch like that. You can with practice. Anyone can sketch like this with practice. Of course, maybe not exactly like it, but everyone can sketch like everyone can sketch to this level of quality in their own way. Because like not everyone is gonna be able to, is gonna sketch in like the same way because everyone has different methods, right? But yeah, you can like get to this. Such an icy, pretty color. Yeah. Am I done? I mean, I could give her the. I mean, I could color, but it's so small that I don't think it's even worth it. But yeah, hello, Issa. Is it Issa or Isa? I'll call you Sa. I'll call you Iz. There's a person I used to know on PlayStation that was named Iz. I'll bring that back. Alrighty. Let me see. Hello, Steven. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Have you watched JJK? I have. At least I've watched up to season 2. I haven't watched season 3 yet, but I'm planning on it. Hello, Dennis. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Dennis. Hello, hello, Furtus. Hello, Ben. Welcome to the stream. What kind of anime? What kind of anime you watch other than the one you said? I don't know. I watch a lot of anime except for like romance anime. I watch ReZero. I've watched the Monogatari series. I've watched Attack on Titan. I've watched Steins Gate. I've watched uh after full as Frieren. I've watched Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I've watched Delicious in Dungeon. I've watched Made in Abyss. I've watched some of Madoka Magica. I've watched Summertime Rendering. I've watched Fate Zero. I'm watching Fate Stay Night right now on Limited Blade Works. I've watched Shadow's House. Did I say that already? Yeah, I've watched To Your Eternity. Not all of it, but some of it. Yeah, hello, Chris. Welcome to the stream. I just joined the live stream, and I liked your drawing from the stream cover. I'm wondering how you managed to draw those straight lines of shading so professionally. I don't think I'm able to draw straight lines. I don't really draw straight lines. I kind of just, I mean, I can draw relatively straight lines, but it just comes with practice when you're drawing straight lines. And the way that I shade, well, I have a video on shading, but to sum it up, it's just I imagine a grid on any object that I'm shading, and I just kind of, I imagine the lighting scenario where the light source is, and you know, any face of the shape that I'm shading that cannot see the light will be shaded. But I think I explained it better and in a simpler way in the video. So if you want to look at the shading video is on my YouTube channel in the playlist called Beginner's Guide 2. If you look around in that playlist, there's a shading video. So yeah. Hello, Jackson White. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? How you been? I've been good. I've been chilling. I've watched Attack on Titan twice now. It's awesome. Yeah, I've watched Attack on Titan a lot of times. It has a lot of rewatch value. I watch Hunter x Hunter? Maybe. I did start watching Hunter x Hunter, but I haven't gone too far. I probably I haven't gone past episode 20. At the very least, I don't know exactly where I am with Hunter x Hunter. It's solid. It's just not on my priority, right? It's not a priority anime for me to watch right now. Especially since like the manga isn't even finished, I don't think. So yeah, even if I do catch up with Hunter x Hunter, it's not like it's not like the series is gonna be finished. Yeah, well that's an excuse. It's not really a priority show right now, but one day I'll watch Hunter x Hunter. Is that a fishing rod on the right? I haven't drawn a fishing rod on the right. Oh, this thing. It looks like a fishing rod. No, this is unintentional. I was just showing examples of me drawing like lines and how they aren't actually really straight. I know, right? I don't think they're doing the whole manga with the show. Yeah. Hello, K-Blood. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Okay, thank you. I'll be looking for your explanation video. Yeah, it's not too difficult to find as long as you go to the playlist, and then yeah. The playlist doesn't have that many videos in it, so it should be relatively easy to find. Have you read / seen One Piece? Nope, haven't read the manga or watched the anime. I'm not planning on it, at least not right now. Maybe when it finishes, like when the series finishes, then I'll probably watch it. Which I don't think it's gonna finish anytime soon. So. Hello, Pinterest. Welcome to the stream. How's the day going? Literally, they've only just finished season 1 of One Piece, and it's more like 1,000 episodes long. Yeah, I'm talking. Yeah. What about Spy Family? I haven't watched Spy Family, no. Hello, Real Brick Guy. Yeah, I had to switch to manga. Oh, for One Piece? Fair enough. I guess, yeah, you can certainly read a lot more with that, yeah. That is, when you say I imagine a grid on any object when I shade, that's contour lines on them? Yeah, I think you can, yeah, I think grid/contour lines. I think, yeah. Yeah, the thing, yeah, I believe so. I think you're right. My eye no longer hurts? That's good. When did I start learning to draw? I started learning to draw in like 2017. Hello, Broken Skull. How's your day going? Cool drawing, thank you. Have you ever considered making your own manga because it's like professional level art? Maybe in the future. I mean, you say professional level, it depends on your definition of professional, but maybe, but not, no. I mean, right now, I'm more interested in illustration than anything else, right? So one day when I become bored of illustration or I want to do something more, then I'll probably move on to like a manga, but I want to get better, you know? I want to get more consistent. I think when it comes to my knowledge on anatomy and my knowledge on like, maybe it's like anatomy on perspective. Those two things, when I feel a little bit, but yeah, I think that there's still some things for me to learn before I consider myself a professional, or I guess what I actually mean rather than professional is a master, right? Or no, I don't think so. I think master's a long ways away, but I think for a professional, at least for a lot of professionals, usually they like are very consistent when it comes to their perspective and anatomy, and I am not, right? Especially with my anatomy, I think my knowledge on anatomy is kind of lackluster in some areas, and so I want to have a nice baseline knowledge of anatomy regarding the entire human body, which I just don't have right now. Well, 2017, what a long time ago. Yeah. Like the anime and the manga is P. Fair enough. You try anime drawings too? Where anatomy is important for body drawing? Yeah, that's obvious. I mean, the body's made out of anatomy, so of course knowing anatomy is going to be good for drawing bodies, yeah. Have you heard of The Summer Hikaru Died? Yeah, actually that's on my to-watch list. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm gonna watch it at some point. Hello, Ben. Welcome to the stream. Not the same Ben that I greeted earlier, but yes, hello. Hello, Martinez. Welcome to the stream, too. Dennis, is your age redacted info? I'm 20 years old. Do you follow a specific system, or do you draw what you see fit? I mean, yeah, I don't really have a specific system. I just I try out different methods. I draw whatever I want to. I mean, I say I'm practicing, but really, I'm really just drawing whatever I want to. I'm practicing whatever I want to. Yeah, I don't have a system. I'm doing what's fun to me, basically. My compass for drawing is just whatever's interesting, whatever is fun. If something's not interesting, or like, yeah, if something's not interesting at the very least, I'm probably not going to draw it. I'm a bad artist. I try a lot, but I still can't draw good. Maybe you just don't have the right method. I don't think, yeah, you just probably don't have the right method. And plus, art isn't like anything that's objective. So, I don't know. If you make drawings that you find bad, then that's fine, you know? You can all, just keep trying. Because, like, if you give up, then then maybe perhaps you actually are a bad artist in a sense. But as long as you keep trying to improve, I don't think there's like a such thing as failing at art, because I mean, there's no measure to failing art. Eventually, if you keep trying, if you try long enough, you're gonna eventually find a method that works for you. You're gonna start to notice things that will help you draw better. So I don't think you're like a bad artist. I think you just haven't found the method that's good for you. You always stream when I'm about to sleep. That's unfortunate. But welcome to the stream, Teacup, and maybe then good night, Teacup. Hello, Sen. Welcome to the stream. I'm also learning to draw right now. I'm following the Drawbox lessons on YouTube and the website.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Wait, have you seen Blue Lock?
I've seen Blue Lock season 1. One day I'll actually watch season 2.
Was it good? Yeah, season 1 was good.
I haven't watched season 2, so I can't speak on it. Though people say that the animation for season 2 was not the best until like the last couple episodes or last 2 episodes. Yeah. Well, I mean, a couple is 2, so I guess last couple episodes.
Who's your favorite character? Probably just Isagi. Although Nagi was cool, so maybe Nagi, but Isagi's also, Also, if you have a message, try and keep it in one. Try and keep your messages in one message, basically. Because if you put a lot of messages in a row, it's gonna start to push up a lot of the chat, which will make it harder for me to read chat. Hello Diavola, welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Ever wonder why it's spelled invisible and not invisible? True. Bro, you use Pinterest reference. You use Pinterest for reference, like finding reference image for a drawing? Sometimes, yeah.
Although, I may not use Pinterest all the time. I may use Twitter. There's like a bunch of other stuff to use. Although Pinterest is a good site for finding references, I would say.
I don't really like Isagi.
Fair enough. Yeah, I like Nagi. I don't actually really like Reo though. He wasn't the most interesting character to me. Why is there a worm coming out of her butt? That's her tail. That's her tail. Let's call it that. And also, no, that's not her butt. Her butt would be like, I mean, okay, yeah, I guess you can, if you want to consider her butt, it's more like her lower back. If you can imagine where her tailbone would be like around here. Yeah, her butt would be like down here.
Wait, how really?
I don't know. He just, I mean, I don't know. He just wasn't that interesting to me. I mean, I guess a character being dependent on another character is interesting. It's just not like, it's just not that interesting to me, I suppose. Whereas I find a character that tries to copy other characters and stuff like that. I just find that a little bit more interesting, which is probably why I like Isagi. I find it cool. But again, yeah, it just comes down to personal opinion in the end of the day. Whenever, like, yeah, whatever, in any show, whatever your favorite character is, it's just like, yeah, personal opinion.
It'd be like that, basically. I thought it was so cute, though. Ah, I see. What a lovely hairstyle. I appreciate the anatomy. Well, I'm glad you like it. Hello, Diona.
Diana?
Denora. Hello, Diona. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. You know what it is? I think I find people in general who are dependent on other people to be like not interesting to me. Or rather, I don't find it to be a good character, like a good trait of a person, I guess. So what would be interesting, like I guess what would make me like Rayo more is if he, and I would assume this might be actually, like this probably is his character. In fact, I can't necessarily remember his character in season 1, but it seems like that's the character arc that he's gonna take. He's gonna learn to be independent and not need Nagi, is probably like if I were to guess, right? Like it just seems like that kind of basic, not basic, but you know, that conventional like character arc. But yeah, I just find dependence to be like a bad thing, I guess. Not even that I hate it. I just find it, yeah, I find it like a bad thing in actual people, and I find it uninteresting, I guess. That's probably right. That's probably why. Right. Probably why. Do you like Rin? I don't. Yeah, I mean, Rin is cool. I don't have anything interesting to say about Rin.
To be fair, I don't have that much interesting thing to say about a lot of characters though. Hello, Umar. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going?
Yeah. Rin is cool. He's cool.
What about Bachira? Oh, Bachira is cool.
Yeah, no, he's cool. I don't have much to say about Bachira, but yeah, I think I like him more than... Do I like him more than Rin? Maybe.
Bro, I just draw anime characters only. Fair enough. Good, you?
Oh yeah, I'm doing good.
Thank you. Is that a new Laxu form? Perhaps I've never noticed the horn shape.
So like Laxu is like if you look at Laxu over here and Laxu over here, I generally just don't draw her horns. She's supposed to have horns for the most part. It's not necessary completely for her character to have horns, but yeah, her like actual character design. If I were to actually like draw her really, if I want to give people a character sheet, I would include the horns in her character design. So I just find the horns block a lot of like her interesting hair shape. Like if you look at like the hair, I like the way how her hair goes like this. And when I draw the horns, it kind of gets in the way of that.
But she is supposed to be a character with horns, yeah. Wait, how really? Wait, how about what? Like,
what are you asking about specifically? I wasn't following because I was distracted. If I was talking about something about Bachira, Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think in a similar way to Reo, the way like the learning independence from other people, or I guess in a more specific case for Bachira, like Isagi, but just like the concept of like monsters in general, learning to be independent from that. I think that was a cool like take on the character. I think Bachira is more interesting than Rin, but because Bachira just has more going on, like we don't get to see fully, at least from where I was, we don't get to see fully the development of like how Rin got to the place where he is, or even exactly what he's doing. At least in season one, where I am. So, at the moment, I find Bachira. I guess yeah. I would say like they are close. They're in like a similar area, but I would give Bachira the edge to Rin because he's just more interesting. Yeah, so I would get, yeah, that's why. I haven't seen enough of Rin other than like Rin is just very intense. He's like a very dark and brooding character, which is like cool, but I find the characterization that they gave to Bachira to be more interesting. Bro, drawing daily is necessary? No, it's not necessary. Or rather, I mean, it's not necessary. You don't have to draw daily. You could take breaks, right? I don't think you shouldn't force yourself to draw every day. Unless you're trying to like get a job in art, but having art as be your passion, having fun with art and having it be your, yeah, like having fun with it is not the same as trying to get into the industry. I want art to be I want art to be like something that I'm passionate about, so I'm never gonna force myself to draw every day. I draw every day because I want to draw every day.
Fair enough. Really, you must get to season 2. What about Chigiri?
Chigiri's cool. Um, yeah, he's cool. I mean, you know, he's very fast, obviously, and his character design is cool, like the red hair, and the yeah, like you know, I think if you have long hair, especially with a character that moves a lot, the hair adds a lot of dynamic dynamism. It adds a lot of dynamism to his character because when he's moving fast, his hair, like, you know, it flows in the wind. So I think that's cool. About his actual character specifically, I think he's just a solid character. I don't have much to say about him. You know, I'm not because I don't play sports. I'm not even really into sports, and so I can't necessarily like I can understand the fear that a person would have for like injuring themselves and like never being able to play again, or like, you know, just injuring themselves in general and being careful with like the part of their body that they injured. But yeah, I don't necessarily like super resonate with that, so I just don't have anything to say about it. I have nothing to say about it. Yeah. Dennis, if you force yourself to do something, would that feel like a job? Yeah, I think so. I think if I force myself to do YouTube every day, if I force myself to draw every day, it's gonna start to feel like a job. It's gonna feel like something that I have to do. I don't think you should ever feel like you have to do something that you love, right? I think you should do things that you love because you want to do it. There's a difference between having to do something. And you know, I don't actually think you have to do anything, like things are forced on you, really, but you know what I'm saying, right? I don't think anyone should feel like they have to do anything. Especially when it comes to something that they love. I guess more so like with that, like specifically, I don't think people should feel like they have to do things when they love. Name a character I can draw today, like an anime character, please. Ichigo from Bleach. Ichigo from Blue Lock. I'm joking. He's not Ichigo.
Yeah, thanks for a suggestion. I'll definitely try and draw that character.
Oh, no problem.
This, I didn't know you like Ichigo's design.
I don't necessarily. I mean, I think it's fine. I don't have any. I don't have any preference for Ichigo, but I just, I came upon Ichigo. I don't know why. I don't know why I picked Ichigo. I thought about popular anime. Yeah, I mean, he asked for an anime design. I thought about popular anime characters. I thought about Bleach, and who's the main character of Bleach? Ichigo. So I just said Ichigo.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye, Pinterest pin. What is this OC's name? Her name is Laxu. I mean, these two characters are the same character. They're both named Laxu. In a technical sense, each of her forms have different names, and in a sense, they have different personalities as well. But I just for you guys, when someone asks their name, I just call them all the same name because it's easier. If you think about like an Asa Yoru type of character, like a Sukuna Itadori type of character, like they're two characters in the same body, or well, for these characters, they're for the most part like it's not even like they're two souls in one body. They really are the same character. It's more like she has multiple personality disorder, and all of all the different personalities have different forms, and so they're essentially different characters, and so they have different names, but they're really all the same character.
Hello, Rudy. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? I like the Laxu on the right of the page above. The character, I always forget her name. Well, yeah, this is Laxu. They're all Laxu. Except this drawing right here is Entropy, but aside from the Entropy drawing on this page, all the characters on this page is Laxu. Yeah, hello, Rudy. How's your day going? Yeah, they're all Laxu on this page. She looks really different with long hair. Yeah, I mean, no, she just looks really different in general. Like her like she's taller. She just like her chest is larger. Let me see. The markings on her face are different. Like for all intents and purposes, this is a different character. But in this like lore-wise, they're the same character. Laxu's a reliable girl, right? Give her a backstory. She has a backstory. What do you mean a reliable girl? I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, I don't think she's reliable to do what she'll do because she's a god. All gods are reliable in what they're gonna do. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they have backstories. I just don't talk about the lore because, anytime I start talking about the lore, I get distracted and I stop drawing. For the most part, all the characters that I draw, like to some level, they may not all they may not all have the same level and depth to their backstory, but all the characters do have some level of backstory. I love hearing stories about people. It's relaxing. Fair enough. And then what is it? It's on the outside, it's red, and then
as it goes towards the center, it becomes blue and stuff.
When is the day you finally lord up?
I do sometimes,
I sometimes lord up. Do you know who Karasu, and Otoya is?
no, no. Don't know who those characters are. I've already talked about the lore. I just don't often do it. Like sometimes someone would ask me a question and I might like start to talk about the lore. And once I've started talking about the lore, I kind of just, you know, I for the most part keep going unless I just decide to stop. So I've already done it. It's been like, yeah, I mean on streams, of course. I don't have like a video on it or anything. Okay, that's pretty much it. Of course, inside of here should be blue.
Do you know who Barasu and Toyota is? I know who. No. What is that? Is that just are you just riffing off of the names that Are you just riffing off of the names that Tina gave, or is that actual characters? I mean, of course, I know Barasu from ReZero, but I mean that's not. I mean that's just a nickname, and also, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, moving on from this drawing. Yeah, this one turned out pretty good. Okay. And I can give her she's supposed to have these highlights going on the edge of her hair. I feel like I've stopped giving her that, even though she's supposed to have them. So I'll give her those back. You mean Otoya and Baro?
Oh, Baro's cool. I like Baro. Yeah, I think Baro's a cool character.
Toyota was made up. I kind of want to match Tina's message. Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I assumed, to be fair.
Lore characters are interesting. My OC will be a girl that got rejected from hell and heaven both, so she lives in Earth forever and does tricks to people, but she always falls in love with a human. Oh,
That's interesting. That's interesting. What was that? Oh, there's just a hole there.
hello, Igor. Welcome to this room. I'll call you Rumo. Hello, Rumo. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Goodbye, Venus. Have a good day. So she gets a lot depressed to see her love die multiple times.
That makes sense.
Wait, you like Baro?
Yeah, I like Baro. I think he's an interesting character. Whether I like a character or not just has to do with if they're interesting or not. I think Baro is a very interesting character. I think the dynamic between Baro and Isagi is a very interesting dynamic.
Keija Bakushin? No, that's a Uma, right? From Uma Musume. In any case, no, I'm not really interested. Bakushin. Wait, in what way? I mean, Baro himself is, you know, he's that. Let me see. He's the archetype of like a really maybe narcissistic, egocentric. You know, he thinks very highly of himself. Very prideful, I guess, would be it. He's a very prideful character. Calls himself king. But I think I don't think. Is he more interesting? I don't think Baro's more interesting than like Bachira or something, but I think Baro is a good character
in the same way that like Rin is a good character, in the same sense that like they interact with Isagi in an interesting way. There's two ways for a character to be like really interesting. Either a character can be really like whether a character is simple or a character is complex, that like though like I think either way they can still be a good character. I don't think Baro is like a super complex character, but I think that the way that Baro interacts with the rest of the characters, specifically Isagi, like is the main focus, is just a really interesting dynamic because yeah, I mean, you know, it's a cooperative rivalry, I guess is what it is. It's competitive and it's almost hostile, but you know, they work together in an interesting way that I find to be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. If you asked for Gold Chip, maybe he would draw her? Absolutely not. Hello, person whose name I can't spell. Yeah, I have less things to say about Baro, like why I like Baro, than why I like Bachira, or why I like, you know, I don't really have much to say on Baro, but I do like him as a character. I think as a character he just does really well. He keeps it interesting, basically. As long as a character makes the story interesting, I think like it's a good character. So the characters that I do not like are characters that don't really make the story interesting, I guess. What do you like of Isagi? I just like the fact that Isagi, I like the way that Isagi adapts. I like the mentality that Isagi has. I think that's just a very good mentality to have. The want to better yourself, the want to like, you know, it's like in art, like using other people's techniques to like, and like even altering them, like altering their techniques to your own benefit, right? That type of thing. I just like that type of character I like intelligent characters. I don't need to, like, a character doesn't need to be intelligent, but like if a character is intelligent, usually like I would like that character. I have a higher likelihood to like that character. And also I like Isagi's I like the character. Maybe, I don't know how much he changed specifically, like really changed, but at the very least I like the progression towards becoming more, as the story calls it, like egoist, like becoming more of an egoist. I think that's just a cool thing. My name in English is Hassan. Okay, well, hello Hassan. Welcome to the stream. And hello Chocolate Fan. How's your day going? I don't even know what I'm searching for here, actually. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I was like, I'm searching my mind for like something to draw, but I don't know. Well, I'm gonna figure it out in any case. I could draw an arm. I don't necessarily feel the real want to draw like a. Okay. I got it. So, what do you like about Nagi? I think he's funny and cute. Plus, he thinks everything is a hassle. For Nagi, I think I have the least. I mean, is that true? I like characters like Nagi. I like characters that tend to be like expressionless. I just find expressionless characters to be nice. I'm completely biased in that regard, so I can't really say much past that. Yeah, expressionless characters. Also, I think the fact that he does change. That I think, yeah, if he was simply expressionless, I don't know, like if that was it. I don't know if I'd like him that much. But I think the evolution of him finding things interesting and then trying to like, finding the drive to become better is just interesting to me. And the fact that that is his character arc. I believe that's his character. Like, the fact that he even like left Reo to like try to become better because he found something interesting. The desire to chase interesting things is something that I can relate to, and I too find interesting. So, Maybe that's why. I say interesting a lot, huh?
Well, that's what you get for hanging out with people. Dennis, do you think I should do line drills? Lines aren't lining.
Fair enough. That's a way to put it. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, if you think that'll help, you can try it out. Yeah, you can try it out, certainly. That might help. I mean, you know, pros do it. At least some pros have done it, and it seems to have helped them. So, yeah, I think if you think it'll be helpful, then yeah, go for it.
There's no reason to not do it. Today I only had theoretical lessons in my high school. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of 68s.
Why are there so many? I was trying to figure out basically the way that I draw my 6 on my, like, if you look at these two numbers, like if you see like 28, this is 26 and this is 28. They look pretty similar. At least the way that I draw them looks very similar. So I was trying to figure out why 6, like, what's different from my 8s, that my, like, why do my 6s look different than my 8s? I was trying to figure out why I can read. I was trying to figure out why I can read my handwriting for numbers, basically. But I thought it was a bit cruel of Nagi to leave Rio. Maybe. I don't think anyone's obligated to stay with anyone. I think people should leave. I think you should. Yeah. I don't think anyone's obligated to stay with anyone. So I think you should be able to, like, leave a friendship if you just don't want to be in that friendship anymore. I don't think that's, like, a bad thing to do. I don't think anyone's obligated to stay with anyone, basically. Dennis uses magic to hide his guidelines. What? You can see my guidelines. You can see. But yeah, sure. I'm a magician. To be an artist, you must be a master of optical illusions. It's something that I say. And why there's so many 68s? Yeah, so like I said, the reason why I drew a bunch of 68s is I was trying to find the difference between why my 6s look different than my 8s. That's why. So I drew it a bunch. I drew a bunch of 6s and 8s to figure out why they're different. Because they can look very similar when I'm drawing, like 26 versus 28 can, like, these two numbers can look very similar, like when I'm drawing them. And so I was trying to figure out why can I read this as 26 and why don't I read this as 26 and I actually read it as 28? And yeah, I was trying to figure out why. Hello, Mia. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? A lot of people don't like the yaoi art style, mainly because, well, I can't necessarily pinpoint it. I haven't actually, I haven't read any yaoi or watched any yaoi. I think the proportions of the characters can look really off. I think that's like a big complaint of people. Like really big hands, really small heads. Some things just look very weird to people, I suppose. It's like a common problem I've heard. I don't know why specifically, like why yaoi specifically, but yeah. Um.
Yaoi men are built like Slender Man. Yeah, basically. Do I watch yaoi? No. I just said I don't. How did we get here? I don't know. Gang, did someone mention yaoi? Yeah, I think so. Hello, bro. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Am I crazy, or did the Discord notifications used to say "Fun fact: stream is now" instead of just "stream is now"? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Why are people freaks nowadays? People have been freaks all days because people themselves are people.
People have always been like this. Chocolate fan. People are just really good at hiding the fact that they are.
Creeps are everywhere.
Huh? Has anyone said anything here that's creepy? I mean, whether or not you're creeped out, has anyone said anything here that's objectively creepy? Because I don't think so.
I mean, nothing is weird till you make it weird.
It's it's more like nothing is weird until people feel weird about it. But like people feel weird about different things, you know. Different people have different thresholds for what make them feel weird, and like different people just have different subjects for what make them feel weird, like makes them feel weird. So, I mean, yeah, what exactly has been necessarily like creepy, I guess.
Oh, Cassie, welcome to the stream. Yeah, what are you specifically talking about that is like creepy? Yeah, hi Cassie. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Hope your day's going well. Des, do you think people can feel weird about anything?
Yeah, I think people can feel anything about anything because that's just the nature of people.
No, I'm talking about the guy who said it, who said about Big Mom or whatever her name is. He or she said something weird about it. I mean,
yeah, but like I'm pretty sure that was like a.
Yeah, I don't think that's like, I think that's just like a joke. I don't think making jokes is like a bad thing or a creepy thing. It's more like, yeah, like some people can like feel weird about jokes, but in the end,
I mean, it depends how it's executed, right? It depends, like, yeah. I mean, for jokes specifically, it depends how it's executed, but I don't think the attempt at humor, or the attempt at making a joke, or being I don't think the attempt at being lighthearted or making a joke, even if it's like done or executed in like a bad way, is like necessarily a bad thing.
this will make an interesting podcast since you guys talking the race of aborting babies to say gex. Oh,
I mean, yeah, in the case, I mean, people talk about everything here. Although I don't think we've talked about aborting babies though.
although I remember the other one.
I love that this is my first problem, my first impression. Yeah, I'd be like that. Oh hey, you know, it's better for you to get the raw nature. it's better for you to get the full range of these streams, I guess. It ranges from anything from art advice to
whatever this is.
Do you use the box method to draw heads? Yeah, I guess so. I suppose so, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I guess what it is whenever anyone says anything that's like, whenever anyone says something like this is creepy or this is like, yeah, I mean, they're really just speaking about their own like feelings, which like, I don't think there's anything actually wrong about feelings, right? So like if someone says something like this is creepy, I think usually what they're maybe like what they're saying probably is like this is objectively creepy, but I think the actual root of it is not that this is objectively creepy, like really, it's just that it's objectively creepy because it makes me feel creeped out, right? I think that's really what it is. Because if you weren't creeped out by it, you wouldn't think that it's objectively creepy, because yeah. But I think, yeah, I just think it's a wrong statement to say something like something is objectively something, right? Because usually there's always yeah, I mean, if it can be another way, if people can feel different things can feel a different way about different things, then I don't think it's literally objective. Like, yeah, basically.
So talking about gooning is fine?
Yeah, I mean, I think talking about anything is fine. It depends how you're talking about it. Are you making a joke? Are you being serious? What's the context? You know, if we're gonna start to like ban the discussion of certain things, I think that's like a bad thing, and that I think killing communication is like a net negative for humanity. The moment we start giving people, the moment we start like deciding what we should be allowed to talk to, especially depending on the context, I think that that's just a bad thing, you know? For the most part.
What about air?
Air needs people to talk about it? What are you talking about? Anyways, moving on. Can you show me an example of how you on how you draw heads? I'm really struggling on drawing them. Not like I'm an expert on drawing heads, but like I mean, let's use this as an example. If I'm drawing a head, I just tend to start with the I usually start with the whatever part of the head we're drawing that is facing us. I start with that. So in this case, the head is going to be facing towards us for the most part. So I'm going to start with the front of the head, the face. This is the face plane of the head. This area is going to be where the face is. I go on to the cranium. Also, I'm never trying to draw perfect boxes when I'm drawing a head. Like, yes, I do use the box method, but I mean, I don't need to actually like, because what I do is I draw the cube of the head, I draw the box, and then I carve out the shape like the spherical, or I carve out the rounded features of the face from the box, right? So you don't actually need the box to be perfect because the only reason we're drawing the box is to get an understanding of like the, get an understanding of the perspective and stuff. So after I've drawn this basic shape of the head, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come in and basically carve out. It's pretty confusing right now to know where the head is, but just know that I'm ending the head right here. So like, this is the bounds of the head. But yeah, I'm just gonna now come out. I'm gonna like bring in the forehead. I don't really have a specific method for this. I do it by feel, right? So for the most part. Also in the middle of the side plane of the head, like if you like, yeah, the side plane of the head, this area of the head is where the jaw connects and where the ear is. So the ear is like in the middle of the side of the head, and the jaw also connects there. The eyes are gonna be somewhere around here. Yeah, I can tell you the basic structure of the head, like the box structure of the head, but when it comes to actually putting down the features of the head, that's where my knowledge kind of fails on how to explain it properly. Most likely because I just don't know exactly everything. Yeah. Is grass green in spring, Dennis? Ah, maybe. Okay, goodbye, bro. Have a good day. Hello, Kendra. Welcome to the stream. And hello, Six Guy Man. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Is ground and air the same? Probably not, no. Is sky blue? Maybe. Sometimes. It's only blue sometimes. Do we breathe air? Yeah, I suppose so. When it comes to the nose, I mean to the mouth is between the nose. Like the mouth is usually, if you want to go for like kind of average, sort of average, the mouth is in the middle between the nose and the chin. Different facial proportions, like different people have different proportions, right? So the mouth can be lower, the mouth can be higher. It just depends. Yeah, but do we live in Earth, Dennis? Who knows? I live on Earth though, probably. Hello, Amadork. How's your day going? Why do you use two sketchbooks?
Well, okay, so first of all, it's easier. It's just a platform for me to rest my hand on. If I'm drawing on the edge of a page, it's like this is kind of awkward. I have to like it's just a little bit more awkward to draw like this rather than draw like this, right? Where you have a level field where you can just draw directly right here and you have a platform. Secondly, whenever you're going to, I mean, yeah. So whenever I'm finished with this page, I'll move it to over here, and then it allows more art to be displayed, especially on stream. If I just have this empty area, it feels like this area is just a waste of space. There's nothing happening here, just empty desk. So I might as well let the art be displayed for longer. I just feel like it's a little bit of a better viewing experience, but maybe not. In any case, I like it better this way, so that's why I do it. And if I was watching the stream, I would also like it that way. I'm really just, yeah, I just feel like it's better that way, so that's why I do it. Do you dabble in digital art? I'm more of a digital artist than a traditional artist. The only thing I do on traditional is I just do sketches. I do sketches and I practice, but on digital, I actually finish my drawings. So I would say yes, I do dabble in digital art.
Also, yeah, no, I said that already. It's got Hogwarts Legacy on. The game is so good.
Oh yeah, I've heard it's good actually. I'm glad you like it.
Hello, Ina Kunata. Why is everybody yapping about drugs? I have no idea what's happening. I'm not really reading, to be fair. Des, do you ever think of CSI lines? Nope, I don't know what the CSI lines are. It could be a little annoying here and there, but it's pretty good. Oh, that's good. Used to play Hogwarts Legacy, but it can't on PlayStation unless I have it open on my PC too for some reason. That's interesting.
That's weird.
Alrighty, I'm changing the song. Oh, you'll never hear that song ever again. Maybe. The next song is just gonna be probably just False Eternal Waiting Room. Yep, it'll be False Eternal Waiting Room. CSI lines is like drawing lines in those shapes ways. I is, oh, okay, you know, I is the straight line, C are the curved.
Yeah, I think for the most part, people literally have to do that though. I don't think, I mean, you know, like at the very least, people have to draw at least a straight line, a curved line, or, you know, or a mix of the two, right? So I think people have to do that. I don't think that way. Like, probably unless you get really good into gesture drawing is when you start to like think about that type of stuff. I don't. But I mean, of course, I do use like straight lines, especially if you look at like these shapes. Like I think this might be like a C curve, right? If you look at the pose, yeah, this is like a C curve. This might, I think this could almost be like an S curve, kinda. Like if we just follow the line of action. This is like a C curve, and
This is like kind of like a straight line, but yeah. Freaky odd drawings, it'd be like that. Who else hates it when the rain turns into cream caramel? That's interesting. The sky doesn't even exist. I mean, in a sense, the thing that we call the sky exists. Yeah, the oxygen and air and all the other, all the other molecules in the air exist, and that's what we call the sky. The sky is in the thing above us. The sky is in like the atmosphere, basically. Yeah, I think the atmosphere exists. You know, unless you want to get into like the Descartes type of stuff. Sort of, like, I guess something like that. I just wanted a background video when doing my math homework and found you. This is so common. Well, I'm glad you like it. Dirts, what do you mean? The chat is not calming? I mean, to be fair, assuming Dirt said something to listen to, Dirt isn't actually like, well, wanted a background video while doing math. If
if they're doing math, then you're not really reading the chat usually. So you're just like listening. I don't think I'm anything that's not calming for the most part.
Goonbait thumbnail.
But it's right here though. Is it really bait if it's like
Literally right there. Hello, the kid from FNAF 4. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Hello, Soul. Welcome to the stream. Anyways, I just want to say, hope everyone is having, I guess, a good day or having fun, and will have a great. Oh, everyone is having and will have a great and wonderful day. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. Goodbye, Soul, and you have a good day too. Really feeling artsy fartsy. I gotta draw. All right. Well, have fun with your drawing. I know the chat's not copying. I was just joking. Oh yeah, sorry. I didn't actually mean to respond to you talking about Dirt. I was just talking. I meant to be talking about the original person who was talking. A crab? Oh, nice. Well, good luck. Crabs are cool. Dennis, are you a man of God?
Well, I don't believe in religion, so I would consider myself, no, I'm not a man of God. At least, I'm not a, yeah, at the very least, I'm not even atheistic in the fact of, like, some sort of entity that created the universe. Like, maybe, like, I'm more agnostic in the fact, what's the cause of the universe? I don't know. Who knows? Well, you know, some people claim to know. But, you know, I'm agnostic. It could be some sort of mechanism, it could be some sort of entity. Don't know. Religion, though, yeah, I'm for the most part, I just don't believe in that. I think it's practically impossible for, like, a person to, for the most part, like, understand if such a being does exist. It probably is not bound by, like, the human characteristics of, like, well, you know, the things that people characterize that type of thing as. So, and for, you know, other reasons as well. I don't have any real reason to believe in religion for the most part. Yeah. Welcome to the stream, Temp. Hopefully your day's going good. I love what your character is wearing in the corner of the page. This one? Well, thank you. Yeah, well, they're kind of wearing the same thing, except this one has a top and this one doesn't. Although, technically, they're both supposed to have the top because it's supposed to be the same outfit. But yeah, besides the point. Do you like to characterize things? As long as it's not a character, like, as long as it's not a person or, like, an animal, not really. To be fair, I mean, yeah, like, I don't know, not really. I try not to characterize things if I don't have to. At least, I don't seriously characterize things. If I'm characterizing something, that's for, like, it's just for fun. But I don't actually, like, really characterize things. I'll become a Neko girl soon. Naturally. Shame that you aren't a man of God. Honestly, I do get where you're coming from. People mostly explain things away with science. It is very interesting for me how far they'll go. I mean, so yeah, I don't think science will ever explain why the universe exists, right? But I also don't think that anyone actually knows why the universe exists. I think, for the most part, when it comes to religion, you have to go off. Okay, first of all, I know people to be liars, right? I know people to be liars, and if people aren't liars, I know people to, like, not understand reality and the truth of it. People tend to have really bad memories. People tend to, like, sometimes not fabricate things themselves, but their brain can fabricate things. If you've looked at like experiments like the split brain experiment, you know, patients like that, we know the brain to not be telling the truth about reality. So people are not reliable, your brain is not reliable. If all the information we get from religion and stuff like that is from either people or your brain, and I mean, like, the stories, if all the stories that we get from religion is from people, or like people lying, or people not lying but telling the truth, but their brain is, like, I mean, people's memory are notoriously not that good. So if like a person right now is talking about things that happening in the past, or a person in the past is talking about something that happened, like, years and years before, and they're trying to repeat exactly what happened verbatim, I just don't trust that, right? Yeah. I haven't been, and, like, other than that, right? Like, if I heard a super convincing argument that had no, like, logical fallacies or something that was, like, absolutely perfect in its logic, and something that led conclusively to the evidence that there's no other explanation other than God, as in God, like, that it's God how it's characterized in religion, not just an entity, right? Not just a mechanism that is beyond our understanding, or beyond contingency or anything. If it leads back to a necessary being that doesn't need to be caused by something else, yeah, like, okay, I'd accept that. But I don't think anything has ever pointed to something specific, like a characterization or, like, an anthropomorphization of that thing, right? I don't think it has to be anthropomorphized into, like, a thinking, feeling, loving, or whatever type of being, right? I just haven't been convinced is the thing. Right, that's the thing. And, like, yeah, I mean, that's the reason. So I'm not against, like, a god or an entity. I'm not convinced by, like, religion specifically, right? Like, what I mean by religion is, like, the idea that this being, if there is a being, is, like, a humanistic, human-like thing that has real goals and is also omnipotent and is also all good, right? There's a lot of things that come along with religion that just makes it less credible for me.
For existence to exist, there needs to be existence. That's why the universe exists. That's like the turtles all the way down point. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, so the problem with that, right? But like, if you're saying that for things to be caused, like things that happen have a cause, and the universe is like cause, so like the universe exists, so there must be a cause. For things to exist, it must have a cause. The universe exists, so it must have a cause, right? That type of thing. Yeah, okay, sure, that's fine, but like, and so like, if you want to make that God, okay. But what you like, the thing that you've just described there is not necessarily a specific God. What you've done is you've said like basically yeah, I mean, like, I would agree with that strain of logic. I don't think it has to be a god or like any god particular, like of a particular religion. I just think that that mechanism, that entity, whatever you want to call it, right? It doesn't have to be a specific religion is the problem. I'm not qualified to start a discussion in order to persuade you into believing in my God. Surely I still have much learning left to do before that.
I mean, fair enough. In the end, yeah, I mean, I think religion, I don't think people who believe in religion are unreasonable. I think that there are very good reasons to believe in religion, right? But for any specific religion, usually there's usually things that don't seem to necessarily point to the fact that the religion that specific religion has to be correct. Like for instance, for the universe to exist, it needs a cause. Sure, the universe, like, yeah, I think like things exist for a cause, for a reason. But the same reason that you can say, okay, well, God exists without a cause because God is the cause. That type of thing, like, it's kind of like special pleading, and it's fine, right? Like, if you want to say that at the beginning, like there needs to be a special cause for like the universe to exist, sure, but I think you don't need a god to do that. Like, the same way that a religious person would say that like, oh, well, God is the uncaused cause. You an atheist or something could say, oh, well, whatever the mechanism the universe is created from is an uncaused cause, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be this god or that god. It can be anything, like not anything. Like obviously, if your god is like some sort of like flying spaghetti monster, I think that, you know, there's some things that are more plausible and less plausible. And so like a being that exists outside of space and time, or a mechanism that exists outside of space and time that is all powerful, or rather has all potential, I think that's plausible. That's certainly more plausible than a lot of things. But I think it's equally fair for like someone else to say, okay, well, whatever my mechanism is, also, like, it doesn't have to be the universe or like the Big Bang. Whatever the mechanism is can also be like an uncaused cause, is just the thing.
There must also be, okay, yeah, hold on, let me just see. There also must be a cause for a cause in and of itself to exist, doesn't it?
Yeah, so, like, there's an argument for what's it called? Yeah, I think it's like a contingency. I think the problem that we're talking about right now is like a contingency problem. The idea that like, or something like that. It's like the argument that for things to be where it is, they need to be held up by another thing, right? So like, for instance, this table is held up by the ground is held up by the planet's held up by gravity held, like, and then you keep going back, and then you get down to the rules. So the rules exist, and what is holding up the rules? Like, what is supporting why do rules exist necessarily? And so basically the argument is, for everything that is, what's the name for it? Like, there needs to be something that is necessary to exist that cannot fail to exist for things to exist, basically. So it's basically that type of argument. Like, yeah, it's like at the deepest level, there is something that's keeping the universe's laws in check. Otherwise, laws don't necessarily need to exist. But we know that laws like exist forever, right? Or not forever, but we know that like for a long time, laws are like stable. Like, the universe is a stable system. Why is it stable? Is it stable because it has to be? And if it has to be that way, what's making it stable? Like, what's the point of it? And so you can point towards a god, you can point towards some unknown mechanism that we don't know. But like, in any case, yeah, it's like that type of argument. So like, you're kind of right, yeah. Causes need like causes.
I literally couldn't guess what the next topic is gonna be, even if my life depended on it. Fair enough. How racism ever even managed to evolve leaves me astounded. It's simply so negative towards. I think negative. Okay, I don't think racism is good. I think racism is like bad, especially like I think racism is bad. Obviously, I think it makes sense evolutionarily, right? So all evolution selects for is if you survive, like survival of the fittest, basically, or something like that. As long as you get to reproduce, then that's good. Racism is essentially just like tribalism, right? And tribalism is good because you prioritize your tribe. If your tribe lives, if your genes live, then that's good. Working together with other tribes, like okay, for instance, in general, there's a limited amount of resources. Like especially if you're back in like the caveman days or whatever it is, there's a limited amount of resources. If there's a limited amount of resources, I mean, like, would you rather split the resources and like if you have two tribes, one of them is yours, one of them is another person's tribe, and you're a caveman and you need your tribe to survive, right? And you're prioritizing your tribe. It's usually better to like in that case, especially since we've laid out like the priorities, your family, your tribe, whatever it is, you want them to survive more than the other tribe. Also, humans are notoriously difficult to predict, right? You cannot predict what another person's going to do, and so, like, it's like pattern recognition. So, if you're pattern recognizing, if like a person of another tribe does something bad, then it's easier for your brain to just say, well, the entire tribe is going to do bad things, right? Because that way, it'll lead to survival, right? It's the same reason why, like, if you see a snake in a bush one time, you're going to be more likely to always assume that there's a snake in the bush, right? Like in any bush you see, there could be a snake. It leads to survival, but that's just because of like, I mean, the one time that there actually was a snake in the bush and you avoided the bush, you're gonna survive. It doesn't mean that there's always a snake in the bush. Pattern recognition doesn't actually need to be true for it to help you survive, right? Evolution doesn't need to select for things that are true. It just selects for things that help you survive. And pattern recognition, tribalism, it's like and like racism is like a combination of like pattern recognition and tribalism. That's what racism is, essentially. It's not a good thing, but I think it makes sense evolutionarily. So I'm guessing that in the future, racism in and of itself will disappear due to evolution rewarding equality. Maybe, yeah. So like, I think that might happen, maybe, right? Usually evolution needs like a pressing issue, right? So if people can still survive while being racist, then people will just continue to be racist because there's no like detriment to your ability to produce genes. Like in the world that we're living in right now, I don't know if evolution really is occurring in humans. Like humans have been relatively the same for a very long time because a lot of like the more that people are able to like flourish, basically, the less evolution usually has a hold on people. If all the like the only way that it could be true, which like I'm just saying, it's like if all people who are racist suddenly like if for whatever reason there's like a disease or something that like wiped out all racist people and like kept doing that forever, then evolution would take hold. But other than that, evolution has no reason to, right? And also I don't think that's a good solution. Like I think that's generally an immoral solution. I'm not saying that's like a good thing, but I'm saying that's a way for it to happen. I think that in the modern world, I don't think there's a reason for anything like that to happen. So I'm not confident that evolution would that like racism will disappear, but maybe, right? Maybe. Maybe. Dennis, would you like to see how the universe was created? I mean, that'd be interesting. Maybe? Yeah, sure. If I can see how the universe was created and then go back to drawing, yeah, I'll do that. Dennis created the universe? Absolutely not. I'm too lazy to create the universe, even if I could. I just want to draw. Oh, like no? Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. Like, maybe. I think that'd be interesting. I wonder if it's something that I'd even be able to know. So like, if how the universe was created is something that was even possible for me to know in the first place, yeah, I'd like to know how the universe was created. But it might just be one of those things that's like so far outside of like the human realm, like outside of like the human brain, that I don't even know if my brain would even be able to process it.
Like, how would I know? Like, how do people know things? I don't know yeah, how do people know things? Like, through sight? Like, would I see? Would I, like, get a vision in my head of how it happened? Would it be, like, a sentence? Like, it's a sentence telling me exactly how it happened? I'm not even asking you for answer, because obviously, you probably, like, most people don't, you know, but I wonder how it would come to be that I end up getting that knowledge, supposing I do end up, you know, supposing that is a thing that happens. If it's possible to know how the universe was created, how would I know? Like, by what method? I think I think that's an interesting thought, basically. Because if you think about, like, the way that people know things isn't even really knowing things. People guess really well. Like, there's no logical argument that's, like, unless we're using unless we're inferring, there's no reason to assume that things are going to continue to happen, right? So if we say something like, we know the law, we know, like, laws exist, right? We know, like, the laws of the universe exist. We say that, and I think it's proven to be, like, mostly consistent that things don't, like, for instance, tomorrow the sun will probably rise. And we can say, oh yeah, I know tomorrow the sun will rise. But what we mean by know, like, what we mean by knowing is, first of all, we have a feeling that it will rise tomorrow, and we have data to back up that it will rise tomorrow. It kind of, because it's risen, like, in the past every day for, like, human history. We just know that to be the case. Yeah, so anyways, I was just trying to figure out, how would we know? Like, yeah, by what method would I actually know? It's an interesting thought. I like thinking thoughts like that.
I love the fact that Dennis is talking about religion, universe, philosophy, and meanwhile he draws cute girls.
It's I don't know. Yeah, it'd be like that. You know, some people are listening to, like, very cute, like, anime music while they're, like, working out, basically. Maybe it's something like that. You'd think they'd be listening, or not, maybe you wouldn't think, but you think it'd be, like, appropriate for, like, someone who's working out to be listening to, like, rock or, like, metal, but they're just listening to Toho music. It'd be like that sometimes, I guess. I'm pretty much convinced. I'm for the most part convinced that people. I think the only thing we can ever really know the only thing that a person, an individual, can ever know is that they exist. I think that's the only thing that a person can know. So, like, similar to what, like, Descartes was going through, like, I think therefore I am. I think that's, like, the only thing that we can actually know. Other than that, I don't have any reason to believe that people know things actually.
I assume it would be in the news. Oh, like how the universe created? Oh, yeah, maybe.
But I don't know if I don't know if I know that, though, right? Like, I don't think would I believe it? I don't know. But yeah, maybe it could be like something where, like, maybe someone explains it in a really reasonable way, like using logical arguments. They explain the creation of the universe using logical arguments that I can follow. But if it's just something like the news is telling me, I don't know if I'd actually believe it. Or rather, I don't know if I'd have any, like, I don't know. At the very least, I think what people mean by knowing, like, a big component of what people say when they say they know something is the feeling, like the feeling that comes along with it. Like, not anything based on evidence, but there's just a feeling that you get when you think something's true. And if I don't have that feeling, I don't think I'll ever call it, like, knowing.
I watched a video which talks about the time lapse of the future of the universe. It's incredible.
I probably seen a video like that. Is it like the type of scenario where, like, the stars go dark, or, like, is it the one where, like, the universe rips apart, or is it the one where everything collapses back in on itself and, like, another big bang forms or something like that? I like to sometimes draw lonely planets drifting through the emptiness of space. No stars there to hold it home. That's an interesting thought. There's been people talking about, like, that type of thing where it's like, oh, what if Earth got knocked off course, or knocked away from the orbit of the sun, and, like, we just drifted off into the universe? Like, what would happen then? I don't know. I think it's interesting. Like, isn't it interesting how much comfort? Like, let's suppose that Earth could that Earth wouldn't freeze to death without the sun. I think it's interesting how lonely perhaps we would feel. Like, even though, like, with the other planets, I think the other planets do bring a sense of, like, comfort, or, like, just things around us. I think if we weren't surrounded by the sun, we weren't surrounded by planets, how would we be? Like if just imagine the world without the moon. I feel like that'd like be a slightly more lonely experience. I just like, even though we can't reach or even though most people don't reach the other planets or like the moon or anything like that, it's funny how much of a sense of comfort we feel by being surrounded by other celestial bodies, at least in the relative near vicinity, you know. My cousin is kind of an astrophysicist. Yeah, it's physicist. But I don't know most things he says. It'd be like that. It'd be like that. We'd be oh so alone, much more than well now, of course. Yeah, yeah. It's funny how much ideas can bring people comfort. Wait, I mean, it's not really funny. I think it's like obvious. It's obvious that ideas bring people comfort. Like, people can find comfort in anime, people can find comfort in music, but like these things are really just that. Well, okay, maybe not music. Music is like more of a physical thing that you can actually, you know, it impacts your brain really. But like, just with art isn't like a real. I guess in a sense it does also impact you like visually. Like if like it visually impacts you. But like ideas, I think ideas keep you company. Like abstract ideas too. Ideas that you can't actually like tangibly like feel or anything like that. I just think it's it's interesting. It's cool. It's interesting and cool. It's cool how powerful the brain is in regards to people. I find listening to you talk while I fall asleep comforting. Oh, I'm glad you like that. Hello, Xavier. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully the day's going well. Xavier. What am I drawing next? You know, my pace of drawings have been pretty slow, but I think the quality of drawings have been pretty good for the most part. I mean, this drawing is decent. I think this drawing is better than this drawing. In terms of like the quality, although I think this drawing does have things that are like interesting about it. For instance, the shading that I'm doing, I think that's more interesting than this drawing, but I think that this one is just more, it has just more overall quality, where this drawing has less. And I think it's coming down to like the shading on the legs. I think the legs are just kind of lackluster when it comes to the shading. Proof Dennis needs to make ASMR? No. Yeah. No. Universe is incredible. In human age, universe is still in the womb. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. To the universe, humans are still barely anything. Something like 300,000 years, or maybe more, somewhere around there. Compared to 4 billion, you know. Or around 4 billion, you know, supposedly. Hello, Zenoob. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Oh, cupcake? Cupcake? Oh. Where? I don't even know what she's doing. Like, what is she? Is he like blocking the sun from her face? I don't know what's happening here, actually. We're already alone. It's kind of funny that we find company in lifeless orbs floating in the middle of space. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. I was like saying, it's funny how like, it's funny that like how like even in the fact that we cannot reach them, if the Earth were to leave the solar system and just be alone, it's funny how much more alone we'd feel, even though technically like we could never interact with those planets like personally in the first place, but we'd still feel like way more lonely. She's catching a volleyball? Oh, maybe, yeah. I can see that. Also, her tail is supposed to be coming out and around. And I'll just do it like here. She's being held by a gun. Oh yeah, she's being held at gunpoint. Why is the person so tall? Who's holding her at gunpoint? God? Des, if you ever run out of stream names ideas, you can do Art of Comforting Yapping. If you haven't done it already. I don't think I have, actually. Maybe. Art of Supposedly Comforting Yapping. I like she's been held by a gun better. Fair enough. There's a sentient giant gun holding her. I see. Yeah, no, of course. That'd be a little bit terrifying. Like the gun devil, but not. Hello, Sad, welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Of our home, Earth is such a magnificent creation. I think Earth is pretty chill, yeah. Let's be like, of course there is. Yeah, no, naturally. What else would there be, if not a giant sentient gun that's holding her? Good news, my eye socket isn't broken. It's just a minor fracture. Oh, no, that's good. It's good. Of course, we can make it better. Well, yeah, naturally. At the very least, we could make it better for ourselves. I don't think Earth actually really cares. Like, I think Earth is pretty chill, like, just by itself. I think without, Earth is, it's like Earth has existed for so long, way before people. It's like, Earth is fine. The only reason we find, like, we're really just, like, whenever we talk about Earth becoming worse, we're really just saying Earth is worse for ourselves. But, like, Earth doesn't care if it's hot or if it's cold. Earth just exists. But yeah, we can make it better for sure. Pollution, stuff like that. Maybe make less animals go extinct. Although, to be fair, animals go extinct all the time, with or without humanity. I mean, it's always been like that, I guess. Bring back the... Well, I say that. Didn't humans make, isn't it supposedly the case that humans made woolly mammoths go extinct? I like to think. I'm not good at thinking, apparently. It'd be like that. Imagine being good at thinking. Couldn't it be me? I'm good at... Wait, what am I good at, actually? I'm good at yapping, that's for sure. Oh, that's good. You'll have it's good that you'll have a complete recovery in 3 weeks. That's good. Why have we and how have we managed to ruin our home in such drastic ways? I think when it comes to any animals, like people take up any animal takes up resources. People are at least more capable of manipulating the environment than other animals. Because of it's like if dolphins had thumbs, dolphins would probably not be I think dolphins might end up being just as bad as humanity, right? But because dolphins don't have hands, no matter how intelligent a dolphin is, they are worse at manipulating the environment than humans are. I think humans are able to make plastic, humans are able to make a bunch of things, and humans are able to at the place that humanity is right now, we have basically on the planet Earth, for the most part, except for some cave systems and deep underwater, in some parts of the ocean, we have we have the range of the entire planet. We have the reach. We can reach all of the planet for the most part, at least the surface. And so wherever people are, wherever any animal is, any animal always leaves waste products, right? But it's just that sometimes like for most animals, the waste products go back into the ecosystem and it's like recycled. Humans produce plastic. Plastic is very hard to be recycled. Um, you know, and humans, yeah, there's a lot of things and processes that humans do that like normally wouldn't happen without humanity. Or at the very least, it would happen at a way slower rate. So yeah. It might be one of those great filters, you know? Those things that like, the supposed great filters that wipe out any intelligent, that like could be the thing that like wipes out intelligent races. Maybe pollution and being able to deal with your waste and being able to care for your environment, or rather the inability to do those things is one of the great filters. Narwhals swimming in the ocean, causing a commotion. Because they're so awesome. Octopi technically have 9 brains, as well as 8 arms. Oh, as all 8 arms have their own neurons and can think independently. Removed arms will still function and attempt to feed an absent mouth. Yeah, I've heard that actually. Yeah, octopi are cute. I mean, not cute. I meant to say octopi are cool. But I guess they can be kind of cute. Humans have conquered many lands throughout history. It's only natural that we managed to conquer the creator of those lands, of course. Humans have conquered many lands throughout history. It's only natural that we managed to conquer the creator of those lands, of course. Des, do you have a driver's license? Yeah. Oh, Earth. I guess so. Yeah. I did not figure out what you're talking about exactly. Because I was like, in a sense, I think of like, I guess I don't really make a distinction of like the places on Earth. I just kind of think of Earth as like one thing. So it kind of be like I guess in my mind, I don't think of like the entire thing as the creator of the sub thing. Like, I don't think of like, if you look at your own body, I wouldn't think of like, I don't think of a person as the creator of their own hand or something like that. Even though by like, maybe, like kind of, yeah. Like when I think of a creator, I usually think of something that's outside of the thing that created it, I guess. So that like, that's why I had a hard time. Like, I guess I just didn't figure out what you're talking about exactly. Fun facts, cuttlefish are so good at mimicry that they occasionally mimic humans' faces to be seen. Oh, mimic human faces to be seen as human. It looks both cool and creepy. Oh, that's interesting. I haven't seen that before, actually. Can you give me some tips? I have to take my road test tomorrow. It's the same, like the way how it's basically just be calm, right? Be calm, but be vigilant, of course, right? Like there are other people. I mean, it should be fun. Like, yeah. I don't know. I mean, if supposing that you've had enough practice, I think you'll be fine. Do what you normally do if you've practiced enough. Be calm, right? Because the moment you start to not be calm is the moment you'll mess up. At least that's how it normally is. Adrenaline is good for fights, but it's not that good for critical thinking. And you usually want to have some amount of critical thinking in a car, in a vehicle. Yeah. But they use their pigmentation abilities to basically project the image of a human face on their body. Yeah. Dennis, do you swear in front of your parents? No. But to be fair, I don't really swear that much anyways. It depends what type of mood I am, I guess. Like, if I'm, like, I guess in some cases, I find, like, swearing to be funny. But I don't, like, I don't swear for any reason for the most part. That's not true. Like, sometimes I do swear, but... It's only like certain situations that I swear in.
I've had enough practice, but I feel I'll make a huge mistake.
Well, I mean, maybe, right? Like the possibility of anything is, for the most part, like, you know, anything's possible. But I mean, the moment you start thinking of the worst case scenario is usually not a good thing. So, I mean, for the most part, yeah, just try your best. Like, that's really all you can do. If you tried your best, and you failed, then I mean, at least you tried your best. Then there's nothing more you can do. Is kind of how I think about it. I don't really yeah, as long as you tried, yeah, I mean, you can't control things outside of your control, so, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, of course, I can get angry. There's not a lot of things that I can possibly be angry. Is that true? I feel like I'm more likely to get frustrated than angry. Although even frustrated, yeah, like, I don't know. I think for a long time I've been trying to like condition myself to not be angry, which I think it's worked. I think like for the most part I don't tend to get angry. But frustrated, yeah, sure. I think frustration is like pretty normal though. I mean, I guess anger is normal too. But I do see anger as like, anger is just really not useful at all. Like not even close to being useful. What's a situation that could make me angry? I don't actually know.
I know, yeah, I'm sure I can be angry, but
what would it be towards? What or who would I be angry for or towards? I don't know.
Anger is like really frustrated? I guess so. If anything, he avoids it and says it's not my business anyways.
That's true. I mean, to be fair, yeah. I do find it hard to be angry at people because I think that people can only do what people do, if that makes sense, right? In the same way that a tornado can only do what a tornado can do. So whenever someone does something that I find to be bad, it's like, well, I mean, it's bad, but like, I mean, people can only do what people do. Like a tiger can only do what a tiger does. And maybe it's just the fact that like humans maybe just, yeah, but whatever, besides the point. Yeah. Things that are out of my control are out of my control. There's no point in me thinking about them, is the way that I think about that type of stuff. So like I don't have like anxiety because I just don't think about things that I can't control. And the only thing I can control is myself, right? You know? So it's like,
yeah, I don't know.
Like in Eddie the Eagle, we're 11 and 1 on the clock, closer to each other than anyone else. We don't jump for medals or records. We jump to feel alive because if we go there with the whole world watching us, and we don't do our best, it will kill us inside. Oh yeah, okay, I understand what you're saying now. You just got a new tablet for drawing. Oh, nice. I hope you enjoy it. Hello, David. How's your day going? Anger is the emotion that loves you the most because the one that wants to protect you the most. You can't really get rid of it, but if you understand it, you can diffuse and channel its energy.
anger protects you? I don't know. I don't know if I really agree with that. I mean, in the situations where I've seen people get angry, it's like really useless situations where anger isn't necessary. It's like, what's the point of getting angry for a video game? There is none, right? It's like, it's nothing serious. Like, I think anger is like a survival mechanism, but in the modern world, what are we trying to survive? Unless it's like in a fight, right? But like fights are different, of course. But like, I'm just talking about in general. In general, there's usually no reason to be angry about stuff because either it's just a video game or, you know, it like, and maybe it's the thing of like, it's just a video game is probably like, how to say, it's it's reductionist, maybe. I don't know I don't know the perfect way to call it, but it seems to be that anger kind of just clouds your mind. It makes you act irrationally. It usually doesn't help you at all, and a lot of the time it just makes the situation worse.
Des, what if you couldn't control yourself?
Then there's no point in thinking about it. Then I am what I am, I guess. For the most part, unless you have like a condition or something, I think most people can control themselves, though. Or maybe, I don't think that's the best way to frame it. Like, whatever, free will, something. But, I don't know, controlling yourself. In a sense, I think people do their best. I think that's basically, so I think I can control yourself. I think people control themselves, right? But some people better than others. And ultimately, at the end of the day, people are kind of just subject to whatever they're, yeah, I mean, if I can't control myself, then it is what it is. But in a sense, I kind of already can't control myself. No, I can control myself. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say something, but I can't find the words for it.
Anger can arouse you, just like lust or fear can. You can't think straight.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem that useful. Like, in an argument, anger isn't really useful. On a video game, anger isn't useful. When your favorite team loses, anger isn't useful.
Anger is the cause of
A lot of problems. Has anger ever solved any problems? Like, maybe if you're in a fight and you're angry at the person, you're more likely to fight, right? So maybe. But unless it's like self-defense or something like that, is anger useful in general? I don't know.
It doesn't seem to be the case.
Hello, bro. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? If I couldn't control myself, then I would put my mind in a state of stasis, not thinking at all, not feeling any pain, to the best of my abilities, just tuning out life.
But wouldn't that be a sense of control? Like, that is you controlling yourself. But like when Rapdog says, if you couldn't control yourself, I think in that sense, then there's no point in me being, like, what people mean by you or me, like the self is the part of you that you can control, because the self is the part of you that's like conscious, or more than that, like the self is the part of you that you have like agency over. To say that you don't have control over yourself is kind of like almost to say that you don't have a self in the first place.
Dennis, what's mukbang? It's like when you eat on stream. It's like when you eat. Like a video of someone eating is like a mukbang, I think. Or is it a mukbang? I don't know. If you can't do anything about your pain, then all you can do is ignore it, fight back. It used to when we're still hunter-gatherers, yeah. Adrenaline numbs pain, exhaustion, and boosts physical strength and reaction. In our modern day sedentary society, it has outlived its usefulness.
Yeah, but like that, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying though. Like, I find it just pretty useless now. Outside of like maybe fights, right? Like outside of fights, I just find it pretty useless.
What about your brain? Can't you always control your brain? If you can't control your brain, then you have no soul. Do you have thoughts?
So I don't think you can actually fully control your brain. So like so for the most part, think about the words that you speak, or think about like the thoughts that pop into your head. You can't control those, right? You can control what you do with them sometimes, usually, right? For most people, but you usually can't control the fact that it happens. And I think your brain is the source of like, I think what we're doing, I think there's like kind of a difference between what people call the mind and what people call your brain, right? So like your mind is like your consciousness. Your mind is like your thought. No, not even that. Your mind is the self. You are your mind in a certain sense, but you are not your thoughts, and you're not your brain. So I don't think you can actually fully control your brain. Of course, there are some like ways of thinking or ways to cultivate thoughts that you can kind of like manipulate your brain in a certain way, and that other people can manipulate your brain. But for the most part, the thoughts that pop into your head are not something that you actively will into existence. They're kind of just something that happens to you.
Is kind of my thoughts about it. Have you seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6 BRPs? No, I haven't seen any part of JoJo, unless you weren't talking to me. But yeah, I haven't seen any part of JoJo. The brain controls itself, though. We don't control our brains; it controls us.
I don't think necessarily the brain can. Okay, well, so actually, yeah, in a certain sense, I do think our brain kind of controls us, but because, like, I mean, the world that we see is brought up by, like, it's brought forward by our brain. The way that we interface with the world is through our brain. So I to be fair, in a certain sense, I would say, yeah, we kind of are controlled by our brain. But I do think we have agency in a sense. I don't think we have free will in the strongest sense of the word free will, but like I don't think we have libertarian free will. But of course, I do think that we have a sense of agency, right? I think to take away the idea of agency from people is kind of not useful. I think people should feel like they're in control. Usually that leads to the best outcomes for the most part. Yeah.
So you're saying that if we couldn't control our body, then we couldn't control our brain? If we couldn't control... Oh, the brain could... No, wait, hold on. How to draw a human? That's a very broad question, and I don't know how to draw the entirety of the... I don't know how to explain it, so I... Welcome to the stream, eFootball, but yeah, that's kind of a difficult question to break down perfectly. Yes, you're always drawing characters in two-point perspective. Is that your favorite perspective?
Maybe. Two-point perspective. Maybe. I mean, is that true? Is it actually fully two-point perspective? Maybe. Like two-point perspective is something like this. This type of thing. Whereas three-point perspective is something like... something like this. I don't think so. For instance, I think that this character is technically, like, I just didn't draw out the entire, but the head at the very least is in three-point perspective, right? If I were to take away all of the hair of the head, you would be able to see, like, the underside of the head. Like, from this, yeah, like, I think you should be able to see the underside of the head in this perspective. Over here, this is a three-point perspective head, I believe. You can see one side, two sides, three sides. I believe so. Over here is like, maybe like even a one-point perspective. This is a three-point perspective. Is this a three-point perspective? For the body, it's not a three-point perspective. If you were to break down the planes of the body, there'd be one plane right here, like for the torso. You could see one of them, two of them, and then you'd be able to see the underneath of the cube of the torso. So I think this would also be considered a three-point perspective. I think three-point perspective is probably the thing that I draw the most. Even for this body, like if you look at this body, you'd be able to see the top side of the torso, the back of the torso, and the side of the torso, which I think that's like a three-point perspective, unless I just don't have the right idea of what a three-point perspective is. So you're saying, yeah, I don't know. The self is the ego, and the brain. The brain and ego together from the mind. Maybe. I don't know if I'm necessarily completely convinced of that. I know the self is the ego. The brain and ego together is the mind. The brain and the self together is your mind. Is that true? But like, okay, the self is the ego. I don't know. Okay, so like what is the function? What does the ego do? Like, for the most part, I think for the most part, things are what they do. Like, I think that's the best way to describe things. Like, an electron is a negatively charged particle with a field, with a field of probability, basically, like that type of thing. I don't think people can ever describe what things are. We only, like, when we call things, we just describe what they do. So, what is the ego? What is the mind? And what is, like, what do they do? Right? So, like, what does the ego do that's different from what the mind does, I guess, is probably my thing. Because I understand, like, ego is, like, the idea of the self, but is the self... I don't know. Sorry. In JoJo's Bizarre, yeah, in part 6, this person resets the universe, causing all events to happen all over, but their brains still manage to think. They could feel every action they had no control over. I don't use perspective lines when drawing humans, personally. Yeah, me neither. For the most part, yeah. Not really.
Hello, Brewer. Dennis, I haven't been able to ask last stream, but can I please lick your salt up? No. That makes sense. Kim Jong-ki said in one of his lectures that we should always think of objects in three-point perspective. Maybe. Ego is the metaphysical, subjective notion of sentience. The brain is the physical and gives you... Yeah, so I know what the brain is. The mind is the ego as counseled by the brain.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is the thing that we call the mind is like the mind is like you, but like yeah, like so but you directed by the brain. So the mind is not like yeah, okay, I can kind of see what you're saying now. Yeah, I can kind of see that. I can kind of see that.
Okay, well, I understand what you mean, though. Imagine the brain as the driver of the car, and the brain as the car. Oh, imagine the brain as the driver of the car, and the maybe mind as the car. No, and the brain as the car, and together. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying now. Okay, so imagine the brain as the driver of the car, and the brain as the car. Do you mean like body? So the brain is the driver of the car, the body as the car, and together they drive through life as a mind.
Okay, so okay, I see what you're saying. No, wait, I don't know. Is that how people? I don't know if that's how people actually use mind. Like I understand
I understand the way that you're saying it, but okay, well, hold on. The car can give feedback such as warning, GPS, etc., but you make choices, albeit limited by the brain. Maybe. Okay, so maybe. Yeah, I think Zanoob meant body. So like the brain is the driver of the car, and the body is the car together. Is the car, and together they're the mind. I think that's what it is. You cannot drive upwards or sideways the same way you cannot think outside of what the brain can do. And without the driver, the car has no choices and no thoughts, no intent of where it drives.
And you call both of those things mind. Okay, so essentially, okay, so when we say the body, let's get rid of the body. If we have just the mind, let's say we not just the mind. If we have just a brain, do we have a mind? So rather than the car, so yeah, so okay, so by the body we mean like the brain.
No, but you said the brain is the driver.
If we just have a body, as in like if we just have a brain, what? Because like okay, here's what I'm thinking through basically. Basically, if you take away your sight, if you take away your touch, if you take away all of your senses, if you take away all of basically if someone's paralyzed from the neck down and they cannot feel their face, but their brain is still, let's just assume for whatever reason we can keep the brain alive without like a heart. If we just had a brain in a vat, perhaps, no other senses other than your thoughts, do you still have a mind? I think yes.
I think the answer is yes. The ego is the driver, and the car and okay, the brain is the car, the ego is the driver, and the car and the driver together are the mind. Okay.
I think it was a miss. I don't think Zanoob actually meant to say the brain is the driver and the brain is the car. I think it was just a typo.
It was a misclick. Oh, misclick. Hello, Gray Frame. How's your day going? My days, I had 8 months. I had 5 months clean, no fap streak. Oh, that's interesting. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Hope your day's going good. No, I don't mean drive as in move, but body drive as in think.
Okay. Yeah, so you can't think outside of what your brain can do. I think that's true. That makes sense. Okay.
So
let me see. I don't know. Something about this doesn't feel satisfactory. And I think what it is, if the mind. Okay, sure. So if we're just calling the mind the combination of the ego, like yourself, like your if we're just calling the ego the combination of like your consciousness and your brain, yeah. And that's the mind. I mean, I agree, like in the way that you've laid it out, I agree with what you're saying. I agree in the definitions that you gave stuff. I don't know if people use it like that though. I, Maybe, I don't know, because I can imagine. Let me see. Let me see if I can find the reason why something doesn't like perfectly match. I don't mean drivism, yeah, but like you cannot think outside of the yeah. Well, Dennis, can you solve a Rubik's Cube? I cannot right now, no. I could have, though. Yeah, so I think the driver is the brain, the car is the self, like the ego or something like that. It's either the car. Anyways, yeah, besides the point. Are you using reference right now? Yes, for this drawing right here, I do have a reference. I mean, technically I have a reference for every drawing, but some drawings, I take different aspects of each reference that I use. So for some references, I take the shading. For some references, I try and copy the pose. For some references, I try and copy just the shading itself, or the gesture, whatever it is. The construction. There's a lot of things that for this one, I did take the pose. I'm trying to do this pose. It doesn't feel satisfactory because verbiage in and of itself is a construction of the mind, so to attempt to conceptualize its own existence in a third-person perspective that is usually on the table. Do you think if you drew the reference the most accurate you could, that will bring you zero knowledge and just a good-looking drawing? No, you'd learn something, I'm sure. Yeah, you'd learn something. You'd have the experience. You'd at least get the experience. You may even understand how the artist did it. Like it in the sense that if you were able to actually copy something one-to-one, you might actually understand how the artist constructs it. Yeah. Let me see. The mind is a combination of the ego and the brain. Okay, yeah, so no, the problem is what you said. The problem is that you said at the start. Oh no, you did. Okay, yeah, no, you did clarify. Yeah, it was just confusing originally because I think you did make a mistake. Because you said imagine the brain as the driver of the car and the brain as the car and as the car and together. Oh, they drive through life. Yeah, because in the original thing, you said brain twice, and so it's just a little bit confusing. But you did clear it up. Yeah. Do you recommend using reference? Yeah, references are good. References are You can't learn anything. You wouldn't know how to draw anything new without reference. You need a reference to learn. Can I tell you something? Sure, if you want. Hello, Lambert. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, two friends of mine came to my house and we drew a bit, and I'm still so bad at drawing bodies, but I think it's because I'm not using reference. Yeah. You need to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Also, hello, Cubic. Hope your day's going. I had surgery that almost killed me.
That's unfortunate, but it's good that you're alive. The mind is like all the things that your brain allows you to do, essentially. Is that true? Interface with the world? The mind is just the combination. Is the description. That's the definition right there that was given.
All of them are the same. No. Well, okay. So if I don't know, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I think at the the concepts of brain, ego, and whatever, like brain, ego, mind, I think they're all different concepts. I think they all do different things. So I don't think they're all the same. Oh, you know why? You know why? I think the reason why it doesn't feel satisfactory is because when people say mind, at least in the way that mind was just described, the mind is more of like the mind was what's it called? It's an emergent property. The mind is an emergent property. But it doesn't seem like emergent properties really, like, I don't know, most emergent properties only exist when okay, so for instance, I think emergent properties doesn't really exist. And so if the mind is just an emergent property, it seems, I think the thing that I was thinking, I think the thing that I was feeling, the reason why it wasn't satisfactory is because it feels like the mind just doesn't have a place as like at least it has a place, like if you want to define it that way. It just doesn't, it feels very flimsy if it's just a combination of two different things. Because, yeah, I don't know. I think that's basically what it is. Emergent thing, like things that are emergent, doesn't seem real for the most part, because usually, like whenever something is an emergent property, it seems to be that it needs like a person to think that it's emergent in the first place, right? So like the concept of a building is an emergent property of a bunch of things being arranged in a certain way that makes us think that it's a building, right? So we can say that like the building emerges from these different things. But like if the mind is emergent, it doesn't feel right, because if we're saying that the self, like, okay, so what are we defining as consciousness? I guess that's probably the problem. Trying to understand and explain the mind is like trying to understand and explain the back of your head. We cannot comprehend the mind inside of the mind. Yeah, but then okay, so like if that's what you're saying, how do we know that the mind, like, okay, so that's kind of like, I understand what you're saying, but then I have, it seems to be more doubtful that a thing called a mind exists. If we can't comprehend, is that right? I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that argument even holds water. Why are we so certain then that a mind exists if we don't have the necessary capabilities to understand the idea that a mind exists? How do we know that a mind exists? I guess is probably my question. Hello, Tara. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Haven't seen you since last year. I don't know. I tried to be funny. True. It's been a long time, honestly. Also, hello, Sophia. How's your day going? But animals don't have a mind. Mind is what makes us think, learn. I don't know, because like if you say something like that, I don't know. We don't ever get to see inside the mind of an animal, right? Like we don't experience the mind of an animal. The thing that we even associate with experience, the thing that we associate with like consciousness and sentience, is the things that like sentience does, right? So like we think other people are sentient because they do the same things that we do, and we think that we're sentient. I don't know, right? So, like, maybe an animal just doesn't have the capabilities to express, like, when you say mind, the things that a mind does, we don't have access to, like, we don't have access to what other people's minds do. So we don't know if an animal has a mind, is the thing. Because we think, because we exist. Yeah, but, like, so, like, people call... Okay, so thoughts are the mind, right? So thoughts are in the mind. Thoughts are, okay, so in the way to, like, thoughts are the combination of the, without a brain you can't think, obviously. No, I don't, what is wrong? No, because there's been an explanation of a mind that felt right. There was an explanation that feels right. Something, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm too tired to understand. No, but, like, this makes sense. The fact that you think about thoughts implies sentience and free will. But is that mind? Like, okay, so, but here's what I'm saying, though, right? I think, obviously, consciousness exists. I'm not saying that, are you using consciousness in the same way as mind? Is mind consciousness? I guess that's what if you're using mind and consciousness as the same thing, then I agree with you, right? Like, then, like, because obviously consciousness exists. At the very least, yeah, it's like, I think, therefore I am. Obviously consciousness exists. Is for you consciousness the same thing as mind? Do you think water finds its way? Water certainly does things, I guess. Everything has a mind, it has a different awareness, intelligence, points of views. Everything has a mind, it just has, maybe. Yeah, I think things, for the most part, I have no reason to assume that things don't have their own mind, their own consciousness, or something like that, for the most part, yeah. To be conscious is to think, and vice versa. To think is to be... Okay, so, like, without a brain, we could say that people aren't conscious. No, besides the point. Is consciousness... Yeah. I'm just in this. Okay, so consciousness and mind is the same thing. Because, like, if that's what you're saying, then the way that you then, in that sense, I agree with the fact that you're, like, oh, the mind and, the body, or, the ego and the, yeah, okay, then it's, like, the ego and the brain is, like, what consciousness is. Maybe. But I can at least follow what you're saying. Doesn't Adam think? I don't know, probably not. Usually the thing that we call thoughts is, like, something that's brought up by the brain, right? But because atoms don't have a brain, the thing that we call a thought doesn't really exist there. But, like, yeah, I mean, I don't think an atom thinks in the way that we think about thoughts, if that makes sense. The thing that we call thoughts usually needs a brain to exist. So I don't think that an atom would think. In the same way that we probably would assume that a rock doesn't think because it doesn't have a brain. I think when people talk about, like, souls and stuff like that, I think usually, like, I think what people are just referring to is consciousness. Like, something that is not necessarily purely brought up out of, like, physical, or, like, something that's not purely physical, I guess, is the thing that we're thinking of. How do you know for sure that objects can't think? Yeah, so I didn't say that, right? But what I'm saying is the things that we call, like, so I think there's a difference between consciousness and thoughts. I think thoughts are what happen when you have a conscious being and a brain together. And so I think, in a sense, right? So I think your question, I think kind of what you're trying to ask is, like, do I think, like, are atoms sentient, or maybe not even that, are rocks conscious? And, like, I don't know, right? But, like, I don't know, like, in the same way that I don't know if people, like, it, like, I think therefore I am only applies to like yourself. And then what people do is they assume that because other people are like themselves, that other people are human, we assume that they can also think. There's no reason to assume that other people are completely different than ourselves. And so the reason why people would say that a rock doesn't think is because a rock is different than us. And so we have no reason to assume that it's like the exact same thing. The reason why you think a rock is conscious is because you've broken down consciousness to something beyond being a human or something to do with life or something like that, right? So like if you go with like the panpsychist view, right, which is like the universe is made up of consciousness, then in that sense, a rock, like to be fair, to a panpsychist, a rock is conscious. It just doesn't think. It doesn't have a mind. It doesn't have memory. But I don't know, right? So like for me, I don't know. I'm not a person who's ever gonna take like a stance on it unless I find like conclusive evidence. Yeah, kind of like what Zanoob says. They could have like, I don't know, I think a self. Okay, so I think a self requires memory. Like an ego, I think people require memory to be people, like to be an ego. At least something like that, right? So like, to have a sense of self, I think you need a sense of memory. What about things like jellyfish? They don't have brains, but do they have souls? They're animals? I don't know. Well, to be fair, I don't think a soul exists, as in like, unless you're saying consciousness versus soul, right? But I think consciousness, like, so are jellyfish conscious? I don't know. Maybe. How do you know that others think? You don't. Yeah, you don't. But like in that sense, there's kind of like, there's almost no point to asking that question. And I'm not saying like it's a stupid question or anything like that, but I'm saying like you're asking a question that literally can't be answered in a sense, right? Yeah, but like I don't know. People only ever guess. You can guess that people are conscious because, I mean, it's like an inference, right? People love to infer. The brain is almost like a pattern recognizing machine. It's a machine made to infer. If you have one color, if you have this color and you have this color, you can kind of guess what's in between. Like if you had to make a new color that was the in-between of these two colors, you can do that. But that's not like a deduction, that's more like an inference. And so you can infer from patterns that we're conscious, then other people are conscious, but you don't know. Just as you don't know that the air is conscious. Yeah, fair enough. Hello, Art by Marak. How's your day going? Oh, thank you for the $10, 10 euros. Sanu, I appreciate it. Sleep. REM sleep is the only part of the process where you dream. So for about 8 hours, you're not thinking and not conscious. That is what being an atom feels like if they have an ego. Okay, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Do people, so it's not death, because death is kind of like but we know like dreams, like sleeping is like a place that is close to like, yeah. So like, I would say that makes sense. I think, like in a sense, I could agree, at least it's a compelling argument from like the panpsychist that consciousness, okay, it's a compelling argument that the only reason that people are like able to think, basically, or people are considered like sentient, is because, not because that they're special insofar as like people are the only things with consciousness, but it's more like people are the only things that can utilize, or not people, but like, you know, animals are the only things that can utilize consciousness because of the complexity of their brains, right? But like, so like the brain allows you to have memory, and you wouldn't call like a person who is unconscious, like sleeping, to be like, you wouldn't consider them not conscious at all. Like they're still a conscious thing. They're just not actively using it, right? And so you'd consider like a rock to be yeah. So like to be without memory is to be like with, yeah. I mean, yeah. I could, like, it's a compelling view. So yeah, like in the arguments that's been laid out so far, I would agree with that. Yeah. I think that's a very solid and airtight like reasoning. Yeah. Capable of, it has a potential. Yeah, so like for for a panpsychists say like the thing that makes up the universe, basically like all of the universe is essentially made up of consciousness. So like an atom has like a property of consciousness, but the reason why atoms don't do anything is because they don't have memory. And to have memory, you need like a brain, you need like a storage system. And because atoms don't have a storage system, you say like they're not sentient, but they have like consciousness or something like that, right? It's more like the panpsychist says like that the consciousness is like the building block of the universe or something like that, or at least part of it.
If you want to know if a computer is sentient, ask it. If it hesitates, it means yes.
Fair enough. What happens when my computer lags?
It's thinking. The brain can lag too.
That's true. That's fair. But then in a sense, like from the point of view that everything is conscious, it's not able to utilize its consciousness,
Then computers are kind of already what was the way you said? If it's sentient,
then computers are kind of no, not sentient, but they're almost they're like a crab. Like a crab or something, right? It'd be like that. I mean, crabs are like kind of sentient, but like there's some crabs. You know, every time I bring up crabs, I want to roast them. I'm sorry. Not like actually like cook them. I'm saying like I want to like insult them. I have a rivalry against crabs for no reason. It like the beef I have with crabs is like
absolutely, I don't know. I just want to. I, for one, do not believe existence exists. I believe that this world is but a manifestation of God, a figment of the one true conscious imagination.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to define what God is. What do you mean by God exactly? I mean, a person who believes that the building block of the universe is like consciousness is kind of in the same boat as you, insofar as, like, for instance, if the universe is fundamentally made up of consciousness, then any iteration of consciousness is just like a smaller ripple in like the ocean of a, like, basically it's like when we're dreaming, if we're dreaming, everything in the dream is made up of your mind, right? It's made up of your brain. It's made up of your mental stuff. But you wouldn't like, so like each instance of a person in your dream is like, you don't think of them as you. Like the table is not you. Like a table in your dream is not you. A person in your dream is not you. There's a bunch of things in your dream that's not you, but it's still made up of like consciousness. It's made up of like mentality or whatever. So if you think about the universe in that way, and the dream is like God or something like that, then every instance of consciousness inside of the universe, the dream, would just be a smaller like branch of the original God thing, like the consciousness. So yeah. Truly, is everything conscious or is it specific? I don't know. So like for the panpsychist, they'd say yeah. I'm not a panpsychist though. I think that their argument is compelling, but I'm not one to actually subscribe to like a specific belief, at least not until I have like conclusive evidence, right? So like, maybe everything's conscious. I don't know. Hello, Reaper, welcome to the stream. How's your day going? If you don't mind, can I look at your art? Yeah, you can. Where you look is none of my business. I feel like the conscious and the soul wired together. Maybe. I feel like animals and humans can't be the only things in all the. Yeah, but like there are things like okay, like for a second, let's assume, let's go with the opposite view. Only humans are conscious. Even if only humans were conscious, it wouldn't mean that humans are the only things in existence. It just means that humans are the only conscious things in existence. But like, I don't know. I don't think consciousness is necessarily special, right? So like, even if we assume that we're the only things that are conscious, I don't think that makes us like necessarily like, we're placing a high value on consciousness. That's only because we're biased towards consciousness because we're conscious, right? The only reason we like consciousness is because we're biased. I don't think like a table, like if a table didn't have consciousness, supposing it doesn't even, I don't think it's like less valuable intrinsically, like objectively to the universe than anything else. I think things exist in the universe. If you want to break the universe down like that, I think things exist in the universe, but I don't think consciousness makes humans any more special, if that makes sense. Yeah. Only some animals can survive in space. That doesn't mean they're the best. Yeah. I think that just because people can think, I don't think that means people are like better than something that can't think. Yeah. So I agree with that, Cassie. Hello, Toasterized. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? They sell crab for cheap where I live. That's nice. Dennis, if a human lose its consciousness, would that make it less human? Yeah, okay, so like basically it's kind of like this. I guess you'd have to define what a human is, right? So if by human you mean the body, like just the physical nature of a human, then if a human loses consciousness, it's still human, it's just a dead human or something like that, right? A human unable to like utilize do anything, right? If you think that the human is so for instance, if your consciousness went into like a robot or something, are you a human or are you a robot now? Or like if you put let's say we made a completely mechanical body. Let's say we amputate your body and we just keep doing that, and somehow let's assume for whatever reason you can swap your consciousness from your metal brain, from your human brain into like a computer or something like that. So you've transferred your consciousness. Are you still a human or are you like a robot? I guess that would be the answer to your question. I think it's completely like based on your philosophy, just your intuition. I would say that no. I say like meaningfully probably no. But like in your mentality, yeah. Like your consciousness is still like human in like a sense, because you still have like your human memories, right? I think memories are what make up people. I think people are made from memories. I think that when a person loses their memories, they're no longer really the same person. So as long as you have the same memories, then meaningfully you like, so far as your memories are concerned, and like so far as like as the way that you interact with the world is concerned, I think you're still human, right? But like, if you lose your memories and now you're a completely new being that's only used to living in like a mechanical body, then I think you're like a robot or something similar to that, right? Or like an android, whatever you want to call it. But like, yeah, it just depends on what you mean by a human. If you're just talking about the physical stuff, then if a human loses its consciousness, then yeah, it's still a human. If you're talking about the mind, then no. Or like the consciousness, I guess. The memories. What's that tentacle tail thing? Is this a Cell from Dragon Ball Z situation? I don't know Cell from Dragon Ball, but it's same. Yeah, it's like to be fair, it actually is a tentacle. Like it functions like a tail, but it really is a tentacle. Basically it there's a portal on her back, and the tentacle like comes out from the portal. So there's a lot of things that can come out from the portal, but it just in this state in this thing, it's a tail. Whatever makes contact with the end of the tail gets absorbed. It gets broken down. It's a tail of division, basically. Laxu's entire power set is like to divide things until it becomes nothing, or at least to make things approach nothingness. So just to continue to divide things. The tail does that. It's night. I'm drawing a deagle for a project. Oh, nice. I don't think I've ever drawn a desert eagle. Is it worth to say that I like sleeping more than living? It's so peaceful, no pain. Existence is so soothing during sleep. I can't
I can't help but think I'm addicted. Well, sleep is cool. I mean, sleep is very peaceful. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Hello, Screen Hermit. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? I heard they already did that. A certain failed Austrian painter's consciousness was put into Grok, I think. Ah, I see. Hello, Kareem. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? This is not a good question because consciousness here is not defined. You're assuming consciousness is separate from the body, which is a claim that you need to support if consciousness is a result. Yeah, well, I mean, you can't really prove anything, right? So we don't know what consciousness is the problem. We can like try to get towards what consciousness is with like a set of like reasoning or a set of thinking. But like in the end, we'll never know what consciousness is. Unless like, okay, so like, let me see. So like, I think I've heard some really good reasoning as to why. Okay, so like basically, is consciousness an emergent property or not? Like, I think that's the question. If consciousness is an emergent property, then there's no need for there to be any metaphysical thing happening with like consciousness. And by metaphysical, I'm just talking about like things that are not physical. Like there's no need for like there to be two things. And to be fair, there is a way to solve the problem of there's a way to get rid of metaphysicalness without actually getting rid of consciousness being separate from material, which I think it would be like something like panpsychism, right? Yeah, so wait, hold on. Yeah, so like, let me see. Of complex neuron interactions, then you can't swap your consciousness. Right, so like, I guess it depends. But I guess what I mean by consciousness is simply, no. Like, okay, it depends what we mean, I guess. Yeah, so you're kind of right. Let me see. Let me see if I can think about it. Consciousness. I mean, like I said, I think that a person is only meaningfully the same if they have their same memories. So I guess in a sense, no, but like I don't think that's actually the definition of consciousness. I think consciousness is. Let me actually try and figure that out. Consciousness is like okay, but what is a person? I guess it'd be like what is you? To be conscious, experience is consciousness experience. If a person is conscious. Okay, if a person experiences things, then are they conscious? Is that what a person is? Like, what is experience? If you remove if you remove all of your senses, then you're still conscious. If you remove your memory, or rather, because like if you're brain dead, then you'd say that someone is not conscious anymore. Like there's just no consciousness there in the first place. Because we can't see it. Because things are only what they do. So like basically we're defining consciousness as what it does. So consciousness is like a sense of self, a sense of experience, I guess. Hello, Screen Hermit. A human is a being born of humans through their biological reproduction. Yeah. If trees can think, then cells can think. I don't know. Can trees think like so? Like when people say think, like people are usually mean like have I think if you're just reacting to something, I don't know if you're thinking. I think thinking, to assume that something thinks, I think requires evidence of it like making plans, right? So like you can assume like a dog or a pack of wolves can think because they can make plans for the future. Like it's a good reason to assume that they can think. But like can a tree make plans for the future, or does it do things like in an immediate fashion, right? Like does a tree plan, or does it just do things? Does it just react? I don't know. Cell uses the hold on. Would that be the same for cell? Supposing the idea atoms could have a ego but not be able to express themselves, would that be the same for cells since they're? Yeah, I mean, yeah. So like, I mean, yeah. In the same way, yeah. Yeah. So supposing we go with like the panpsychist view that like consciousness is just the building block of the universe. or something like that, or like it's intrinsic in like things, in like the basic particles. Yeah, cells would be conscious, jellyfish would be conscious, rocks would be conscious. But the thing that we're talking about, like, I think there's a separation between like consciousness and like actually doing things with the consciousness, right? Like things like memory, things like interacting with the world, being an agent in the world is like a different thing than just consciousness. For what the panpsychists say about it. Oh no, Dennis, Evil sent a message, but Discord is asking for ID now. Oh, that's unfortunate. I've already drawn over 20 pages of horrible indie comics I'll never publish. Rip. If your consciousness is uploaded to a computer, you are merely just a series of zeros and ones that believes themselves to be conscious. I think it's like if you've seen the game Soma, I think it'd be something like that. I don't think a person can necessarily transfer consciousness. I think you just create a copy, right? So if you like if you mapped a person's brain onto a computer, I think it'd just be a copy of the person, not the person themselves. I think that's basically it. Robot was derived from the word robotnik, meaning worker in Russian, as seen as derogatory. Android is the preferred term used by artificial individuals. Oh, I see. Interesting. Dennis, can I fry you till golden brown and season you with crushed up salt lamp and eat you like your potato fries? I'd rather not, no. Okay, goodbye, Temp. Doesn't Android being half human with part? No, that's Cyborg. Cyborg is half human. It's like, you know, a mixture between people and robots and whatever it's called. Why do we believe ourselves to be conscious? Who's to say that we aren't all oblivious to reality itself? Yeah, so I don't think like consciousness. So like basically the reason we think we're conscious is because we experience, right? You at the very least, I experience, right? I don't know if you experience, but if you experience, then you know yourself to be conscious, but you don't know other people to be conscious, right? But you can assume, you can infer that other people are conscious because they're like kind of the same thing as you. Although, you know, that's not like actual concrete proof. It's just like a reason to believe. You're conscious because you experience, right? So whether you lived in like a simulation or in a real world, you're still conscious in any case, right? Because you experience. So as long as you experience, you're conscious. I think that's basic. I think consciousness is, in a sense, experience. Experience. But the way that you experience is through like, well, besides the point. I'll go through that line of thought later. Hello, Chris. Welcome back. Yes, I like the floaty drawing. It's cool to imagine that there's water. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna go flirt with my hubby. Okay, goodbye. Oh, I was somehow watching 20 seconds behind stream. Oh, I'd be like that, to be fair. But yeah, anyways. Experience. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily the most satisfactory definition, though. If you can only define things as what they do, and you can never define things as what they are, well, you know, you can just assume that things are what they do. But no, what am I even thinking about? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I guess I'm trying to figure out a definition of consciousness. It seems compelling to, because like when you say someone's conscious, or like when you call yourself conscious, it's more so you're like, consciousness is like the experience, right, or something, or maybe that's sentience. I think that's the difference between sentience and consciousness. I guess sentience is like experience. Consciousness is just the thing by which experience comes out from, right? I think that might be what it is. Maybe that's what it is. So yeah, consciousness maybe is like just what gives birth to something like that. I don't know. Lend me some of your energy looking pose. This one? Yeah, maybe. Oh no, welcome to the stream. How's your day going? It's been a while, true. Consciousness seems to equal sentience. It almost seems like that. Conscious sentience, same thing. But like, okay. Maybe it's the other way around, actually. No, that doesn't make sense. Because like, is a sleeping person sentient? I think so. But you'd say like a sleeping person is unconscious. But maybe what's happening is we're using two different definitions of like. When I say we, I mean like people use two different definitions of consciousness. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe. You need more characters with wings or digitigrade legs, just because it's fun. Maybe. Wings. To be fair, she can have wings. I just don't draw wings because it tends to like. So wings from the back would get in the way of the back. Wings from the front is cool. I do have characters with wings. I just don't draw them that much. Mainly because I guess, like, to be fair, it's mainly because they're just not that important. Like, there is a character with a lot of wings. At least, is it like 6 wings? I mean, they're not wings for flight. They're just things that resemble wings. But, and like, she's there, and she has a cool design. I like how she looks. It's just a lot of work. What about like little bat wings? I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, just from a purely design standpoint, it'd be cool. Yeah, maybe. But nah, I don't know. I don't feel like it, I guess. Although maybe it's like, if it's like a different, maybe if I felt, yeah, maybe like, you know, maybe. But where would they? Yeah, maybe. To be fair, I don't see it as like an unreasonable, like, I think it would make sense in the same way that like, I'm not gonna get into lore, so never mind. But yeah, anyways, perhaps. I do think wings look cool, yeah. Like, sometimes I do give Laxu wings. Like, she does have wings sometimes. I just don't draw it often. I guess it just is a pain to me. But I don't know why. Like the Tillager reminds me of Cell for some reason. Apparently Cell does the same thing for the most part. Your drawings have definitely gotten cleaner since you started this channel. Yeah, I think that's true. Oh, see, I almost hit down the camera. Yeah, thank you. I've been focusing on getting a better shading technique, I guess, if that's the case. Or at least just being more intentional with my shading. And I think having a little bit more intentionality between my shading is like good. Like, you could kind of see a difference in the cleanness of this drawing versus this drawing, right? This drawing I was not focusing on having like the most clean lines, but this one has like some pretty good shading. I think it has to do a lot with the shading, maybe. Maybe building up line confidence? I have no idea. Little bat wings. Also, I forgot to draw the thing on her back. I really love your shading. I don't know how to shade. Even this one you think is better than I can do. I don't think it's bad, but I mean, yeah, I think shading is pretty easy. Like, I do have a video on it. Like, it's just like, imagine, I mean, what do you have a problem with shading? Like, is it like the technical aspect of like the strokes themselves? Or is it like the understanding how it works? Because I think understanding how shading works is like, I think is mostly intuitive. And like, even if you don't get it right now, like, I think with a good enough explanation, like, I think most people would get it. It's just like the part of the shape that you can't see, or the part of the shape that the light cannot see is gonna be less shaded or something like that. Probably both. Maybe. I sure would love it if I managed to somehow make it in the world of indie artists. I want to make my own empire. Not that I'm narcissistic. Honestly, it just sounds like fair enough. Des, do you think it can go more than one day without hearing about Gold Chip? Well, maybe if you didn't come in here and keep mentioning Gold Chip, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think shading is pretty simple. At least, like if we have like this ball with a grid, we have a light source over here. Like the reason we shade spheres the way we do is because we kind of just, I mean, like the way you can think about it is we imagine a grid, or like maybe you don't do it, but when we do shade a sphere, it's because of the faces of the sphere. And like spheres have like a bunch of like, if you think about a sphere, it just has an infinite amount of faces. But if we like if we make the sphere a lot more simple and we decrease the amount of faces on the sphere, we can like see what's happening, right? So like if we have the light source right here, let's say like this is the sun, it's like shading, it's like shining down here. And if you like draw out the contour lines, I guess, the grid on the sphere, all of the faces of the sphere that can see the light is going to be shaded, and the faces that cannot see the light will be like shaded. And there's a degree to like how much of the light that they can see, and so you just shade more the less of the light that the faces can see. I probably don't understand forms very well and can't decide on where light is coming from. Oh, fair enough. I always, or how dark to make shadows. You kind of just make, like, depending on, yeah, so like the value of the shadows just depends on like how much of the light the face of the shape can see. And I kind of I automatically just by default have like a light source to like most of my drawings. Like you can see like a trend of where the light's coming from. It's like usually to the top right. Although for this drawing, it's the top left. But like for the, yeah, like this is the light's coming from the top right, it's shading down. For this one, top right, shading down. And so like they're all the light sources like coming down to the left. Or the light is coming down to the left, but but it's something like that. So to get rid of like the having to think about where the light source is for like any given drawing, I just kind of already have this like default light position in my head. I don't shade in a realistic manner. I only use two tones, pure white and pure black, for the light and shadows I just hatched. Yeah, I think that's fine. Like, I mean, like cell shading, it like that just more comes down to the rendering. I think like a realistic understanding of how shading works doesn't necessarily mean you have like an unrealistic idea of like how of like I think the way that light works is like the same in all situations. It just depends on the execution, right? I think that the rendering, it could be different, but you probably like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people, most people, I think, yeah, I don't know. What's cell shading? It's like cell shading would be like if we took this drawing, cell shading would be like, cell shading would be something like this. If we have the same lighting scenario, the light's coming from the top left, cell shading would just be this. So there's no gradient or anything. There's no gradient, it's just light or dark. That's it. I could even make this better. This was a kind of a crappy sphere. Yeah, cell shading is like one or two or maybe three values, but they don't have any. There's like it's either on or off. You have a job to do? Oh, yeah, fair enough. But if you want to get better at like shading, like it doesn't even have to be like any intensive training. If you just do like a test drawing, like maybe you're just like sketching for fun. Let's see. Like the face is kind of a complex form, but let's say we have an arm. Let's say we have like an arm right here. I guess this is pretty good practice for me to figure out if I understand arms better, which I think I do. I think I understand arms a lot better than I did before. But yeah, so like let's say this is an arm. If we just want to understand it better, we can just have fun and just try and see if we can understand contours. And maybe if like drawing out the muscles and stuff, like, and to be fair, I don't know if I'm putting the muscles in the right spot anyways, but it's more visually appealing in my eyes. Fair enough. I think cell shading can look pretty good. I prefer a more complex shading. I tend to find it to be more interesting. But cell shading can look good too, yeah. But like something like this, where like you just start to contour. And like I think with enough of this, it gives you a better understanding of like the 3D forms that you are actually drawing.
Hello, Shira. Welcome to the stream. Woman butt. True, true.
And then it gives you the chance to like plot out, okay, where do you think the light would be? And like it's like shadows and light is not super, it's not so complex. I mean, it's not so simple that like it's just, you know, there's like things like bounce light, there's things like subsurface scattering, depending on like what the material is made out of, it's obviously going to be shaded differently. But just like as a basic thing, I don't think basic shading is like super difficult. Like let's just go with the same top right lighting. I think that it would be shaded something similar to like, something similar to this. Also, let me just bring in some of this.
Okay, goodbye, Brad. Have a good day. I have to go now and remember Dictator Patos.
Right. Oh, hold on. I think I did that wrong. Let me see something. What exactly did I do? Oh, okay, I see. So, like, if we have that, I think this would be coming to... Yeah, I assumed there'd be some sort of thing happening here, but I just didn't know where to put it. It's unfortunate. I could have done that way better, but that's whatever. I don't study the reflective nature of light much. I just know if light would hit something once and I shade that light. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know what's going on. I hear you reading some comments that I'm not seeing. Can you read deleted comments? I mean, you probably don't have the chat on like not live chat. So if you go to live chat, you'll be able to see all the chat.
You probably have it on top chat. Just look at the chat. Look at the top of the chat. There's probably a thing that says the top chat. So like click on it and switch it from top chat to live chat.
I think the shoulder would be something more like that. Like I think the shading would be, there'd be like a divot here in the shoulder. A divot. I don't think that's the right way to put it. I think a divot is a circular like hole, but it's not a divot. It's more like a dent or like a crease. Arms are very interesting. Honestly, arms look pretty cool. Don't you just love the complexity of the human body?
I like complexity in some parts. Yeah. The ants are cool because they have this pretty flow to them if you draw them all.
That's true, actually. Yeah, hands can look really cool. I've seen some people draw really cool hands. I wonder if I have some of those references, actually. I think so. I think I might have some of the references, but I'm not too sure. Why am I drawing out the guidelines? I don't know why I'm drawing out the guidelines. I just have.
Do you think you can start from something complex or you slowly build?
Yeah, you slowly build it. Usually if you try to start from something complex, you're gonna end in like failure. And usually it's very difficult to break down a complex thing. It's easier to, okay, well that's not actually true. But okay, so like there's a saying, it's easier to break something down than build it up. And that's true, actually. That's literally, so like you break down the complex thing into simple parts, which is like what you're so that's what it means to be like starting from something simple. You're breaking down the real world or any complex thing into a simple part, and then you build up. So you break it down and then you build it up, right?
Yeah, but yeah, starting simple is gonna usually, you starting simple will even get you there quicker, right? It'll make you faster in the long run. You'll probably get there faster than a person who's like trying to like learn the entirety of the thing all at once. Usually, unless they're like a genius or something. But drawing anatomically perfectly accurate arms are just kind of a flex, no pun intended. Um, maybe I don't know. I think like, I mean, there's just some really good references. And I think if you see enough references and you like see enough references from different angles of the arm, I think you will just be able to draw the arm. So I don't think it'll be super difficult. I don't think it's like obviously no one's saying it's unattainable, but I don't think it's like the most difficult thing. Although the human body is like, yeah, I think you're right in the fact that the human body is like so, there's so many different configurations for the muscles to be in, like how things twist, how things like when it's flexing, when it's relaxed. There's so many different things that the body can do that yeah, I guess it is kind of like a flexibility to do that. I wonder when I'm gonna be able to. I wonder if no, surely one day I'll be able to do that actually. When. What the heck even is this? I was trying to figure out what is this lighting scenario, but what it is, I think this wall is, yeah, this wall is like curving. That's interesting. This thing looks like an optical illusion. I can't tell if the wall is curving away and the light source, so either the light source is over here, or like over here, and the wall is like curving like this, like facing towards us is being shaded. Over here is like a light, and the wall is curving this way. Or I don't know if the wall is curving towards us. No, it's curving away, because like you can tell from the way, I see. So that's how you do this optical illusion in real life. The reason why this wall looks like it's curving away, like outwards that way, is because so like, let me see. If we were gonna break this down and the wall was actually gonna be coming towards us, we'd be keeping the same length of the walls, right? The wall length would be about the same size. And it'd probably look something more like, this, if it was coming towards us. Where we're keeping the same length, but we're just, yeah, wait, hold on. Okay, that's a little bit, maybe something like that. Maybe we'd even shrink the length of this. Maybe we'd shrink the length of this as well. And then we start shading it. And that doesn't actually look right either. I think I messed up again. I'll do it again. I like drawing the arms and hands, although I'm not good at fingers. It'd be like that. Fingers are pretty difficult. Hello, Finley the fish. How are we doing today? Singularity. I'm doing good. I'm chilling. How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing good. Sometimes when I'm in silence, my brain will play songs, and sometimes I hear this and the other songs in my head. Oh, the thing for my stream. You got eternal waiting room eternally in your head. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, let me actually do it properly. I think that looks way better. Like that will probably track as it's coming more towards us. Although, maybe drawing the entirety of the blocks will give an even better. Yeah, maybe it's because it's also in 2D that it makes it very difficult to tell where the wall is actually curving. So something like that will probably make it look better, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, that tracks way better. Des, where's your happy place? Drawing. I don't know. I'm pretty chill. I mean, like, I just don't think about that many things, and so it's like, it's not like I'm always happy, but I'm certainly, like, mostly, like, it's rare that I'm not at peace, or at least, it's rare that I'm anxious, or in fear, or whatever it is. Because, yeah, if something's out of my control, I don't think about it. There's no reason to think about something that's outside my control. I guess there's something to be said for people who like think things are outside of their control, but they actually are. But, you know, yeah, I guess it depends on your judgment. But there are a lot of things that, by my judgment, are out of my control, and so there's no need for me to think about it. So I'm not like super stressed all the time, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Discord is in the description if you're looking for the link to the Discord. I think my Discord went ID, sir, and then oh sorry, sir. We know you're 18. Apologies for the misunderstanding. Oh, interesting. It's because I've heard this song so often that my brain already has it recorded already. Oh, makes sense. I feel ease in the dark. Oh, nice. I never understood the concept of fourth dimension. Well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the fourth dimension is like literally outside of a thing. Like it's our brain can't. Yeah, like yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, you can think of it like time. Time. If we think about if we look at the dimensions and we see the trend of what the dimensions are made out of, like the 3 dimensions that we know, it's directions, it's coordinates, right? So the dimensions that we know right now are coordinates. So what's another thing that could be a coordinate? What's another thing that can dictate like a point in this universe? Time. So time could be the 4th dimension because it can be a coordinate to tell you where something is in time, right? So it's like where in space and then where in time. And yeah, so if you know when something happened and where it happened, then you know where the thing is. But if you know where something happened but not when it happened, then you might miss it. But if you know, and if you only know the time where something happens, but you don't know where it happens, you're gonna miss it, right? It's only when you know both where something will happen and when something will happen, when you can actually accurately pinpoint something in the universe. And so the 4th dimension could be space. If you think about the dimensions as coordinates. But if you think about a 4th spatial dimension, then that's when things get a little bit tricky, of course. Time is the 4th dimension, the 2nd dimension length makes up the 3rd dimension, and width is the 3rd makes up the 4th line. Seeing the ends, the beginning all at once. Yeah, so like if a person were to see the 4th dimension, like all of it, all the time, it'd be like yeah, everything would have already happened. Everything is happening, already happened, and will happen, basically, at the same time. Yeah, but the 4th spatial dimension is yeah, I mean we can say things like yeah, like there's no way to conceptualize it basically other than we can describe what would happen, like so we can like say that like a 4th dimensional being moving through the 3rd dimension would be like it would shrink and grow, right? It'd be like things we can visualize it in the way that it would look in the 3rd dimension, but there's never going to be a case where, unless, you know, as far as my knowledge is concerned, there's never going to be a case where we can actually really see the 4th dimension, because we're not 4th dimensional beings. We're 3-dimensional beings seeing the world in 2D. You know what? You know, that's another thing. Experience is weird. No, I'm not going to go on a tangent, actually. I have thoughts rattling around in my brain. To be fair, I've had thoughts rattling around in my brain since last night. I've been trying to actually make them. I've been trying to get them to harden in my mind so they don't slip away. Dennis talk. Aw. I was trying to figure. So like. Okay, so like I think consciousness being what's it called? Consciousness being an emergent property of the universe is weird. Like of atoms, basically. And like, how would I say it? Because I think experience is weird. Like experience like if you think about it, it's super. Basically, what would happen what would happen if you had a bunch of people? So like if we do the China brain experiment, which is like, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be China, but and to be fair, you'd need a lot more people than people in China. But like, let's say we have, for every neuron in a brain, we have a person, and we give the people a way to communicate with each other, and so we have an entire mass of people, like trillions and trillions of people, communicating with each other in the same way that a brain would. Like we just, for whatever reason, like, yeah, we get them to act in a way that a brain, or that neurons in a brain would. Does that give birth to a new consciousness? And so if it does give birth to like something that can experience, if like the new consciousness would be able to like experience tastes or so, well, maybe not taste, but you know, where would the like, how does that work, right? I'm trying to figure out, how does experience work in that way? Where would the experience be? Like, so for a human being, we can like kind of think about it like, oh yeah, our experience is in our head, right? But for like if a bunch of people communicating with each other gives birth to consciousness, like in a way that a brain would, gives birth to like a consciousness that experiences, would the experience be in the people? So like yeah, what is experiencing? Is it the people, or is it like the like, where would it be other than the people? But like, but the thing is, like, the reason why that's a question for me and weird is because if you look at a person's brain, right? So wait, what am I doing? I'm drawing, right? Yeah, if you look at a person's brain, it's not like any individual, like, we know that's not any individual neuron that's carrying experience, right? It's like it's the collective. It's a collective of neurons that's carrying experience. Or it's, so like, we can say that's an emergent property of neurons, but things that are emergent doesn't seem to, like, when things are emergent, they usually are just things that we call emergent, like a building or a store or the feeling of hot or the feeling of cold. But like, you wouldn't say that temperature is an emergent property of temperature isn't emergent. Hot isn't emergent because hot is a feeling, but temperature is just atoms vibrating. But so I don't think like temperature is not so like, I think emergent things seem to come about when people think that they're emergent. And so I don't think that emergent things really exist. And so I don't see a reason to believe that, or so like, maybe there's a different type of emergence, right? Maybe like maybe there's no reason. Maybe there's like, yeah, I don't know. Essentially, at least where I am right now, it doesn't seem like emergent things really exist. And so consciousness doesn't, I don't know, would it be emergent? Like, where, I don't know where I don't know. Hello Fox. Is it kyanite Fox? Or is it kyanite? No, it's not kyanite. Is it kyanite or kyanite Fox? Or something like that. If you don't mind me asking, I'm a beginner artist that is learning to draw anime. In fact, I'm studying hands at the moment. Do you have any advice? So like, I could give broad advice, which is just like, break the hands down into simple, like, so use references first of all. Like, I think that's just a very solid advice. Use reference, but then break it into simple shapes. So like, when I'm drawing a hand, I break it into simple shape. Like, the wrist is like kind of a sphere thing. It doesn't have to be perfect, by the way. When you're breaking down your drawings into shapes, you don't need them to be perfect. But you just need to understand them, right? So I guess the body of the hand would be like a cube-like shape, and then the rest of the fingers would be like, you can consider them like cylinders or spheres or something in between. And so by breaking down, yeah, so like, I'd recommend breaking things down into simple shape. I have a video on me drawing hands, by the way, although it's not a tutorial, it's just me giving like tips. But the tips that I'm giving, I mean, it's essentially the same thing. Maybe I explained it better in the video, because right now I'm thinking live, and so I might not be able to formulate my thoughts in the best way, like, so you can understand. But in the video, I did a voiceover, and yeah, I did a voiceover, so like, I could think and like, I can take time to explain stuff. A little bit better. I wouldn't say, maybe I haven't watched the video in a long time. I don't know how good the video actually is now. Like compared to like what I know now, or like my experience now. I don't know. Okay, goodbye, Chris. Have a good day. But yeah, if you want to check out the video, it's in my playlist. It's in Beginner's Guide to playlist, and it's just a video on like, on me just it's just a video on hands, not a tutorial, but just me drawing hands and me talking about hands. But yeah, just for general advice, I would just recommend. Yeah, I'd recommend you. What's it called? Yeah, break the drawings, break the references down. So use references, and pick references that you can understand. Like, so maybe you can just start with a very simple reference, like an open. I just threw my pen, but like an open hand or like a closed fist or something like that. Like something that's easy for you to understand. Like if we start like, you know, don't pick a hand like this, because that's gonna be a crazy. I don't even know what that is, right? So yeah, and then just try and break it into the most simple shapes that's easy to understand for you. And then yeah, very interesting. How long have you been drawing? I've been drawing since 2017. That's giving me the power to draw. I can't imagine it's going potato mode again. Contour lines? I don't think so. Also, this hand is very complicated. Let me see if I can break it down in a more simple way. You may even think about the hand as like a doll jointed, like a ball jointed doll, right? not a doll jointed ball. So you can break down the joints, break it down in a way that you can understand. Cylinders, cubes, even prisms, maybe, if you can find a way to do that. Find a thing that works for you and then try it out. If one way of breaking down the hand isn't working for you, try another hand. Try another way. And look at people draw in real time. Look at people draw hands in real time. It'd be useful if you can see the references that they're using, so you can understand why they're doing the things that they're doing, because that'll just give you, it'll inform the decisions you make when you're drawing a lot better. Oh, Dennis, tell them about contour lines. Yeah, I mean, contour lines are good for understanding the 3D form of the object. So like, for instance, if we have contour lines, like if you have a sphere, let's pretend this is a sphere. This sphere looks like a circle without any contour lines or any shading. With no shading or contour lines, this sphere is a circle. But with contour lines, it starts to give 3D like form. You can actually, yeah, the contour lines inform you about how the shape is. So now this looks more like an actual globe or a sphere, whatever. Yeah, hello Lily, welcome to the stream. Not my child, by the way, but yeah. How's your day going? You already know most of this. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't have anything else to. I'm not really like a teacher, I suppose. I'm just drawing. So, but yeah, I guess then in that case, the only thing you're really missing is, other than like a person who can actually give you a tutorial, the only thing you're missing is like experience. Yeah, I just go out and do it, and like be okay with failing, you know. So like just go out there and fail. If you fail, there's no consequence. You can always make another drawing, but try and learn what looks wrong, right? Like, so yeah, just like, yeah, and have fun. Like, drawing isn't anything that's like serious. It's lighthearted. There's no reason to like be stressed about a drawing. Dinner and hugs is what she's getting. Dinner and hugs. That sounds nice. Oh, I see. So where's... Oh, so where there's shadow, the line thickens. Yeah, you can do that as well. Yeah. You don't have to do that, but thickening the line where there's supposed to be shadow is cool. Like if I have a sphere, if I then like make this part of the sphere thicker, like we can assume that we can just like pretend that this was like a solid line, that I used line thickness here. You know, yeah, but besides the point. Let's say the light source is like heading this way. I think it makes the drawing a little bit more interesting. I don't think I did it in the best way, but... Yeah, the line thickness the thickness of a line does imply shadow. After all, thanks man, love your style, by the way, very unique. Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, like, to be fair, like, any type of shadow, like, lines are just value. Like, shadows are value. The difference between this and this is just that there's a bunch of there's, like, this is just a bunch of lines. So, lines are really just value. Like, everything in drawing, especially when it's just black and white on a piece of paper, is just value. So, when you thicken the line, it's the same thing as doing shading. It's just really thin shading, if that makes sense. I don't know. I don't think I'm actually explaining it properly, but, you know, basically.
Okay, goodbye, side. Have a good day. Allow me to eat them, woman. I have been neglecting to do so for weeks. True. I haven't seen you say anything about that. I must satisfy my appetite. and them.
Right, of course. As you should. Yes, go forth, Shira. You must fulfill your duty. What am I doing? Oh, yeah, I was just shading this face, actually.
Sure, gets to eat the woman, but you can't eat but I can't eat your salt lamp.
True. After all, the women is not the salt lamp. The salt lamp is special to me. The drawings are not. I have infinite drawings. I do not have infinite salt lamps, you see.
How long have you been drawing?
I've been drawing for around 8 to 9 years. I mean, I've been drawing since 2017, but I started drawing in 2017 late in the year, right? So when I say 8 to 9 years, I mean it's it's technically 9 years. 2017 to 2026 is 9 years. Or 2017 to 2026 is 9 years, but technically it's been 8 years because, like, only later on in 2026 will it become actually 9 years. But yeah,
A long year. A long year? No, a long time. Not even a nibble or a lick? No. Hello, Diavola, or rather, Petzalgeuse Romanicanti. I love. I have infinite drawing is the same way as me saying I have a theoretical degree in physics. Get a wife single? Huh? Never. Well, maybe sometime. Eating ladies is in no way the gentleman way. Do not proceed in this endeavor, you'll regret it.
fair enough. No, sure means it in a good way. Shira does it respectfully, promise.
Damn, I still have a long way to go. I started last year, but I was doing it really wrong and took a hiatus over the summer.
Yeah, so, like, the reason I took... by the way, it's not like... I don't think 9 years or 8 years should be your benchmark. So, like, I was not training properly. I was not practicing properly. And in the first place, well, yeah, like, I wasn't using references. For the first 5 years, I was not using references. I was a perfectionist, so I used to go over my lines over and over again, like do a line erase, do a line erase, do a line erase. I used to do that constantly. And I used to be caught up in trying to make a good drawing. Whereas afterwards, I became okay with making bad drawings. The more bad drawings the more loose you are with your drawing process, like allowing yourself to make bad drawings, the more you can draw. If you're not focusing on being perfect, you can become a lot more loose. You can experiment a lot more. You can try out a lot more things. You just have more time in the day to do these things, right? So yeah, just like get rid of like your perfectionism. Don't stress about art because it's okay. You can always make another drawing. You always have more time. And like do things that interest you in drawing. Like keep your motivation alive. Keep your passion alive. Because the moment your passion dies, the moment your passion dies with art is the moment you just stop wanting to do art. And usually, like, maybe you're trying to, like, turn art into, like, a career or something like that. And that's fine. But the only reason you want to turn art into a career is because you used to enjoy art, or maybe, hopefully, right now you enjoy art. If you turn art into something that you don't enjoy, then there's almost no point in there's no point in turning it into a career, because it really just is work. So yeah, so make sure you enjoy art, and make sure you don't take it too seriously. Other than that, you're probably gonna improve faster than me, because I did not do it in the proper way, and it's not like there's one proper way. Everyone has their own different methods to drawing, and the time that it takes you to get better is not even that important. Just get better at your own pace, to be honest. Because even right now, I'm not doing the most optimal way of practicing. I'm practicing, but I'm only practicing things that I enjoy practicing, and I'm only practicing in a way that's enjoyable to me. I only do things that's interesting. So, yeah, I think, yeah. I say that all to say that you don't need to expect to take that long. It's not necessary, especially if you start using references. Just use references that you enjoy or that you're interested in. Do things that's interesting to you, basically. Does not matter. You shall not eat ladies, not until pigs fly. Oh. And pigs don't fly. Oh man. How do you share channels link on YouTube? You can't. You can't share links on YouTube, especially in the comments or anything like that. So the answer is you can't. That's exactly what happened with me last year. I was too much of a perfectionist. Yeah. Yeah, perfectionism really kills a lot. Perfectionism kills your motivation. It makes you more stressed. It takes up a lot of time. You go over a drawing over and over again. Yeah, it just, it'd be like that. I feel your pain. Yeah, hello Damien or whatever your name is. It's about to be 4 hours. I might end the stream soon. In fact, what time is it? It's about to be 6. Yeah, I might end the stream soon. I think I'm gonna end the stream. I did 1 page for today, but I think that's fine. Although I used to do around 3 pages. Yesterday I did 3 pages, right? I think I did 3 pages yesterday. Yesterday I did this page, and then I also did this page. So today I did less drawings than yesterday, but it's cool. I'll be seeing it. Yeah, that's about it. One thing and one thing only. Huh? I'm here to say one thing and one thing only. Zam. It'd be like that. Hello, Super, and goodbye, Super. We might have the same time zone. It's almost 6 p.m. Yeah. I start streaming every day at 1 p.m. U.S. Eastern Standard Time. I like this drawing. I like this page. This page turned out pretty good. My favorite drawing of this page is this one. I think the shading is really smooth. I don't like this drawing as much. I mean, I think that it lacks consistency on the way that I shaded. So for instance, this piece of clothing was shaded with hatching, but this piece of clothing was shaded without hatching. And I like this one more. It has a softer look, similar to this drawing over here. So yeah, this drawing is really inconsistent. Also, the shading is just a little bit more messy. I think this shading is pretty good. It's pretty smooth. I like this one. I like it too. Thanks for this. No problem. Yeah. And thank you. Thank you. This drawing is cool, but I think it's a little bit more messy, especially around the legs. This shading is just not that. It's not that pleasing. It could be better. It's cool actually. It's fine. I think it's a cool drawing. I do like this drawing more. The pose is also more interesting as well. This drawing is cool. I like my attempt at drawing water was neat. This arm, and then this is just a bunch of random sketches. But yeah, that's about it. So goodbye. Hello, Crasnan. Welcome to the stream. How's your day going? Did you autodidactically learn the anatonyms? Wait, the antonyms? That's not a word. Anatonyms. What's an anatonyms? Yeah, I've been trying to learn some anatomy though. I can never join stream now because stream is almost always done by the time I get out of school, and I'm always too busy. It'd be like that. That's unfortunate. But yeah, thank you guys for coming to the stream. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys later. Or will I?
Vsauce music starts playing. Good point.